Snow fell cold on a bitter night. John was gone for the morning light. They blame Karen, but it don't sit right. Too many secrets hid from sight. Oh, the badge runs deep, the law runs thin. They stack the deck, but truth won't bend. The judge looks away, the truth gets drowned. Ain't no justice in Canton Town. Proctor's story shifts and sways. Cameras vanish, records fade. The Alberts toast while the doubts grow strong. The folks still fight, won't be long. Oh, the badge runs deep, the law runs thin. They stack the deck, but truth won't bend. The judge looks away, the truth gets drowned. Ain't no justice in Canton Town. Proctor's story shifts and sways. Cameras vanish, records fade. The Alberts toast while the doubts grow strong. The folks still fight, won't be long. Oh, the badge runs deep, the law runs thin. They stack the deck, but truth won't bend. The judge looks away, the truth gets drowned. Ain't no justice in Canton Town.
Hey everyone, I have a really annoying audio feed from the court. Welcome back. I hope you all had a good dinner and you enjoyed your nap and
Your
I really needed that
leisurely
break.
snooze and, your White Claw. You didn't have to just down it.
No, I was out. I did. Well, I will admit it was a short frolicking, but I did do a little frolicking because
That's important.
you need the frolicking. That's
You do.
So the I forgot to take the poll the last time. I think it was 92% think that Lally won. Over under on the time Bev will come back. She's supposed to be back in 5 minutes. I'll say we'll be ready to go at 2:00.
Yeah, since I have to leave at 2 to go pick up the boys, I'm guessing she'll be right at the crack of 2.
Yeah. And you actually missed out on AJ's opening was good. I would place it well above Yanetti's from last year. The third-party culprit wasn't as big a part of it. Well, it was, but it was more woven into the Bowden defense about a bad investigation. And then we had Mr. Not All, the paramedic whose heart skipped when the alarm went up. He was checking the airflow bag, Mo. The airflow bag. You know,
and
he's an experienced paramedic. They don't check the airflow bag unless it's really bad.
And his puffy jacket that he didn't cut off.
Yeah, well, it ended badly. Well, let's say on direct, he had new memories from last year because last year he remembered her saying twice, I hit him. Now he clearly remembers hearing it 3 times because, as we all know, the more you stew and think about it and watch trial coverage from last year and talk to the investigator, the more you remember what you remember.
Yes. And Brennan was not at all confused about him saying it was 3 times because Brennan understood that, the more he had thought about it, he was like, no, it was always 3 times. I didn't say that right in the first trial.
Yeah, I just remembered differently, and we were just about we did talk about how he clearly at the last trial remembered cutting that big puffy jacket off of him, because remember, they were afraid that the downs would get everywhere on the crime scene, so they were extra careful. And then he remembered he didn't do that, and they just started talking about the scratches, abrasions to his arms that he called furrows. And
Yes.
when they were talking about that, all of a sudden there was a sidebar called. And I
Yeah.
don't know why we had to go to
Well,
sidebar for that.
I didn't know if it was because in the last trial he had made almost like a hand claw. The last thing I remember was, I guess, when he was describing, the witness on the scene or on the stand actually made like a hand claw motion over his arm in the last trial. And that's kind of where I thought it maybe went wonky, but I could be wrong.
Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. Stop it. Stop it. I want to share this because this is funny. I didn't even notice this, but I was getting text. This one. This is when they went to sidebar.
Real subtle, dude.
Yeah, throw out your nicotine
Sidebar for
pouch.
just a minute, please.
If I was a juror looking at this guy right now after, yeah,
What did he put in his mouth? Or
nicotine
taste?
pouch.
Oh,
And this is from Nikki Conway on Twitter. I hope you don't mind I stole from you. Borrowed.
ooh, very cool. Very 80s.
It's such an annoying sound to have in my ears while I'm trying to talk. I don't understand how Harry can do it, where he's simul interpreting, where he hears the English and then he'll speak German. Because I
Oh,
just
I
get
couldn't do
annoyed
that.
when I hear something, some feedback. I'm just, because you start listening to it.
I hate it when you don't mute yourself all the way and then you hear yourself talking and you're like, oh, I hate that voice.
The sidebar was about Jackson bringing up previous trial before the question. No, he had an objection sustained to that, and then he went into talking about the furrows. That's how I understood it. Right? Well, if you want to play that game.
Yeah, I
Look at
mean, I
this.
know they had just gotten into what is a laceration and,
Apparently, this is from Aiden's tweet. When they were leaving court, old Paulo Balls mean-eyed him, and Aiden just smiled at him. And apparently, some court officer came over and said that's the right thing to do. He also said something to Karen when they came home from a sidebar, or when they left, and I think they were instructed not to do that again.
So I need to see.
Yes,
is primarily caused by blunt force trauma.
right. And the hematoma and the laceration were right next to each other, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you indicated last year, or let me ask you this way. Is that consistent or inconsistent with a physical altercation?
Objection.
Is that consistent or inconsistent with a physical altercation? That's the last question when he objects.
okay.
Sandy,
That-
can't you remember the first trial? When Bev says 1:40, it's roughly 2 o'clock, probably, maybe.
Yeah, it's whenever.
But he didn't know that's not. I don't see any third-party culprit issues or timing in this one. I don't. He asked him the same question last year about the physical altercation. I don't know. This is so annoying. Get off that
Yeah.
StreamYard music. I'll just turn it down so I don't have to listen to it. But Mo, if anyone is new here, other than you, of course, should go over and subscribe to Mo and Valhalla.
Yes.
What would you say we got out of this morning?
Well, I got a feel of how Brennan is going to approach things. He did try to be more of a storyteller. The problem is I don't think that's how he generally does openings because he wasn't very comfortable in it. You can tell that Alan Jackson, this is his style. He creates a narrative and then he puts the facts in, and that's easy for him. Now, it didn't seem at all natural to Brennan. So, and I do feel like, as a person who doesn't know the ins and out, I mean, you and Valhalla were much more upset because you could figure out the lies right away. Whereas I was going back, wait a minute. It was so fast that I almost couldn't keep up with where he was shading things. But the other thing is, he didn't tell the story in a way that was easy to understand. So it was like 2 sentences and then an aside and then 2 sentences and another aside. It was terribly difficult to keep ahead of.
But I saw something that Brother Counsel, and I wish I had, because I didn't put down the times he gave. But as he understood it, there was a 7-minute gap from they did the 3-point turn till she hit him.
Yeah, that's where. Is that new?
That's the slowest, fastest Lexus in history.
Yeah.
Because he said they parked outside and then they slowly crept up until the Nagels left. That's not consistent with testimony because they said the brake pedal was on. I believe they did. Didn't they? I might be wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, the thing that really confused me about the last trial was the key cycles or where they coincide with things. Because if her wheel slipped, if it was slickery outside, I could see your gas pedal going all the way down to the floor, and it's not because you're pissed off, it's because you didn't get traction and it just kind of spins. So
and again, I could see you're drunk and I don't drive I haven't driven an automatic since 2018 when I was in the States the last time. But you could probably get it in the wrong gear. So you put it in reverse and you'll spin your wheels. I could see that happening. AJ is a pro. This isn't his first rodeo. Then again, Brennan should be a pro too. I think the problem is it's a way different approach when you're a prosecutor or you're a defense. Because the defense will know, and he listened to it first. He, of course, had his skeleton of his opening statements. And he just have to yell a lot about they didn't prove anything.
Well,
the prosecution need to try and paint a picture of what did happen that night. And I don't think Brennan's... I got really confused about his timeline and there are 3 points of data, and I only think we got 2. It's kind of like reading Cleven's book.
He's very disjointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The difference, so that was the strategy in the first one, right? Just overwhelm them with facts and hope that they can't put it all together, which it worked to some extent. It ended in a mistrial, right? And I think that's what Brennan's doing again, but he's a better storyteller than Lally was. Lally was very check off the box, right? He was you had 2 kids, right? Yes, I had a 4 and a 5-year-old boys. And what were the ages of them? 4 and 5. Were they both boys? Yes, they were both boys, right? This guy, Brennan, he seems to be better at little
They're cutting
flare
him
of
off so they
sass
don't
in
have
it.
these very long speeches because this guy he had lead actor syndrome. I was in the state last year, but I was driven around. I had a private driver.
A couple of them.
Valhalla took me everywhere,
Woohoo!
and we only almost crashed once.
Well, I mean,
We were in a Dodge Ram. The curb does not count as crashing. That just counts as in my way.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
But was
no,
it snowing, Baker? Was
yeah,
it
unless
snowing?
it's snowing.
No,
Yeah.
it never snows here. Almost never.
But that's I
Maybe
think
purple.
I think the problem is Brennan is I think he's probably a good defense attorney because he's really good at being indignated, being. He's kind of like what if he had the role AJ had. I think he would have done way better, but because of the role he has now and he can't transfer to that role, I actually think the Lally's openings last year were better.
I would agree.
Even though he never really talked about it. We never talked about this magical tail light that bit him. We never got to where the injuries were from. And that shady way of taking something out of context, when the defense can play the full clip and show that you are trying to manipulate the jury, I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, no, especially with this first witness is not the witness you want to start off with when he is so confident, so smarmy, and he's being shown to have had things incredibly wrong. I mean, this is the worst person to start off with because it's already building into the defenses, this entire thing was, FUBAR to begin with.
So I think last year they kind of spread it out, right? Like last year they put their bad witnesses a little bit here, a little bit there. They started with this guy pretty early on, and then they put Yuri on the stand, who, believe it or not, I think was a pretty good witness for the state. He didn't do so well on cross, obviously, but he was pretty good witness for the state. And then they put up Proctor, and that was a complete shit show.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if this time around, if they're going to try to put all the bad up early, all the bad witnesses up in the front, and then space it out after that.
Could be.
Make it the furthest thing away from the verdict.
That's what I would do.
Stephen, where's the flagpole in this picture? Because this isn't where the body was found. Maybe that's what they testified to, that it was 74 feet from. But I don't think the flagpole is here. We need the flagpole to kind of. That's why I looked at what I could see in that picture because I couldn't understand where everything was. So I need the flagpole's position to try and figure out where everything is. Because
do we still see that pallet? Is that pallet right there?
No.
To the left of where you right there? Is that pallet?
No, it looks like it's some shrubbery.
Okay. I was gonna say if that's that pallet, then that flag would be right at the top left corner of it.
Yeah, that would be here, but it's not in the trees. There was that weird little I as I see it, I see the flag more over yonder.
Yeah, that's what the hell did Chloe do to the front yard?
Yeah, that
female dogs will do that.
Yeah, don't notice the pool in the background. It's not there anymore. Because as I see it, the flagpole is you have the door up here to the backyard, and then the flagpole is in front of that door, which would because you have this weird bush that I remember we talked about the first time. If they were in the kitchen, they couldn't have seen the car if it was parked down here, because you have that big bush in front of the window.
Yeah,
that'll totally. That's why Jen is such an unbelievable bad witness, and I did the measurement how much the Jeep would take up, and I believe it came right to this spot. So this is where the Jeep would have ended.
Yeah.
Again, you hit the lights on that one, it'll hit anything that's, let's just do a rough estimate of this area. Anything there would be hit because it's on a curve. When he's driving forward, he would have seen anything that was in that area.
And y'all, this isn't like some soccer mom that's got this isn't Mo, right? Loading her
No.
18 kids into a minivan. This is an ATF agent who's getting into his plow truck, realizes that his plow scrapes across the ground for a few feet, has to stop again, pull his plow up, and then take off.
Well, I mean, we should be just happy that Chloe made it out of this alive, considering the ATF was
didn't.
involved.
She didn't.
But then how did they get the little, Invisalign of her teeth?
Mm-hmm. She's in Vermont. My ass.
Jen McCabe did it. They're
Yeah,
like, Jen, fight on this real quick.
Can we get dental impressions by Jen?
Going straight to hell.
Flag is at the edge of the
That's
mulch bed.
amazing.
Okay, so but then it would still be right in front of the mulch bed, because it was the body. The body was situated. If you have the driveway up here, it was situated in front of the flagpole in that direction. They need to park the effing cars out there and remove the mystery. Yeah, get a Jeep, get Karen's car, put them there and show them, and you will have us believe that she miraculously hit the brakes and didn't hit anything when she was going. But it's you have that 30 feet all of a sudden. Last time it was 60 feet.
Yeah.
Why?
There's no way that car hits that rate of speed in 30 feet. No way. No way.
No.
Absolutely
No way
not.
in hell.
No.
No chance. No chance in hell. Whose entry song is that?
Is that HBK?
Salt and pepper.
No, HBK is. I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not your boy toy. Boy toy.
Who's the wrestler that does this stupid piece of jackassery?
That's
How
John Cena.
dare you? I wish I had a soundboard. I've got
What
the
is
John
this
Cena-
supposed to be? Because I am
You can't see me.
You can't see me.
You can't see me,
okay.
Mr. McMahon.
Yeah,
Hey.
it's McMahon that has no chance, and then he does the
Oh,
the
Stupid
CEO
walk
walk.
like the Conor
Yeah.
McGregor. Yeah.
Oh, did you watch the new Roadhouse movie?
Uh-uh.
He walks around like this constantly.
no Patrick
whole time.
Swayze, no RSVP Mo. Sorry.
You just need to see when Conor McGregor comes into the movie. He looks like a leprechaun on roids. Probably because he is a leprechaun on
As
roids.
opposed to
probably
what he
pretty
looks like
accurate.
the other times of the day.
No, but he keeps going like this. Like he has. It's such a weird. I don't know why he's walking like that. It's such a weird look, and he never change. He changes it when he's fighting, but then he'll go back and when he's walking up
Strut.
and to fight again. No, it's not a strut. It's so stupid. 10 meters. That car couldn't do the 3-point turn and get up to there in under 7 minutes, but it can accelerate for 24. And someone said there's a speed block on reverse on the Lexus, but I don't know enough about cars.
That'd be interesting.
You won't watch our wrestling show? Me and Valhalla will sit and do old pay-per-views.
Ooh.
I think
And here we have everyone's favorite, IRS. Imagine a man doing so little and sweating that much.
He was around for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he went down to WCW as well. He was a part of the $1 Million Corporation, the worst corporation in history because they lost every match. With Tatanka, because when you think, oh, we have the $1 Million Corporation, we had the IRS, I think they had Repo Man at some point, we had Virgil, the personal manservant, and then we had
Tatanka.
Tatanka. The Native
the
American.
Native American.
you guys are joking. I definitely
was
want to be
awesome.
called in as color commentary. I'll be like, I never thought I'd see a sequin G-string in 3D, but wow, this is special.
No,
Now you have,
he
Mo.
wrestled in his
Now you have.
native garb, and then he had a red mohawk until
Yeah.
it started making his hair fall out. He he stopped having a red mohawk.
He was no longer a last of the Mohicans.
No, he was. I can't even remember his tribe name, but Tatanka means buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
It
his name was
Sioux,
Buffalo.
I think he was Sioux.
No, he was
Dakota?
some little weird tribe. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know.
Orton and Cena. It's been going on for now 20 years.
It'll never be over.
Ugh.
It's a moneymaker.
all right. Well, you guys, I
No,
will
I don't
be
think it was
listening,
Dakota.
but Bev has
think it was
Bev'd
Dakota.
us.
We'll take care of
Alrighty.
your viewers till you're back.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
we will.
much. I will be listening. I'll probably be yelling, and my kids will be like, "Is this the woman that was really bad at hide and seek?" Still, because she's a moron.
He was a Lumbee tribe. Yeah, Lumbee.
Oh, look at you, Hellfish.
I think he was. Isn't that from Michigan or somewhere, or Canada? Somewhere up there.
Could be.
This is the best intro. I love Orton's theme.
I don't know if I know Orton's theme. That was like after when
I hear
stopped watching it.
voices in my head. They talk to me. They understand. They talk to me. They talk to me. It's just a banger.
You remember those CDs you could buy that were all the WDWF theme songs or whatever?
You mean the Spotify numbers that you can work out to?
Well, back in the day, before there was streaming music abilities, they had they would release CDs of all like 20 or 30 different theme songs on it. I remember
Yeah.
that.
And when you listen to it now, it's kind of weird when you just when you don't have, because 619 is a weird song to listen to when you don't have a promo package. 619. What is the overlay, or what is it he starts out saying? It's
Rey Mysterio.
yeah, I was
I've got John Cena's intro or whatever on my StreamYard, but I don't have a soundboard, so I couldn't hit it. But it's and his name is John Cena. Da, 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 da.
I just love that when they all went down to WCW, they just got generic guitar riff 1, generic guitar riff 2. Booyaka, booyaka, 619, booyaka, booyaka.
Look at you guys, a bunch of wrestling fans in here.
Yeah, that's why wrestling on a budget with Jamie and I next week. Jamie actually used to watch WCW. Updated Google map. Let me see. Oh, it is in the multibet. Thank you so much. Booyaka, booyaka, 619, booyaka, booyaka. Yeah, so the flagpole would be here. So yeah, so roughly 67, 65 feet from the letterbox. But if she looked out of the kitchen window, there's no way she could have seen that. I'm not even showing the. Yeah, it's in the multibet right here, and he must have been somewhere here.
I think he was further back.
Up here?
He was even a little further, maybe. I think he was about the same distance in as the flagpole was.
No, not when you see if you go and see the pictures I shared. Booyaka, booyaka, 619, booyaka, booyaka. It's gonna be stuck.
It's gonna be in your head all day. Yeah. You're gonna have to listen to it now.
Well,
do you have sound? Because I don't have sound.
I have sound in a second. What's going on?
What'd you do now, man? You're supposed to be the professional on this one.
I am the professional one, but
Ooh, I got sound.
I think it's just because they forgot to put it over. It'll
Way to
be
go,
here in a
Court
second.
TV. Way to go.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Yeah, there it is.
Do you
Yes,
recall who is being punched in the face? Can that lead to a small laceration like you saw and a hematoma like you saw?
Objection.
I'm going to allow it. Can you answer that question?
I couldn't speak to how that injury occurred.
Is it
That's not
consistent?
what the question was.
Are those injuries, just those injuries, are those consistent with being punched in the face?
Those injuries could be sustained from numerous
Why won't you answer the question?
ways.
And I
Yes,
didn't-
it could be. It could be from that. It
That-
could be from others as well.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking you. It could be, in other words, it's consistent
Yes,
with
sir.
being punched in the face, correct?
Slimy.
Thank you.
Does he know he's on TV and being streamed all across the planet?
Yeah.
Because he keeps making these stupid facial expressions, like nobody else is watching him.
I don't think he's thinking about it.
Oh my
Geek
God.
Gods, if you follow my Discord, my mods normally share every piece of evidence in there. I'm not going to tweet all of that because I can't figure out how to clip stuff. That's why I have Jemima.
I want to ask you about this statement that you indicate that you heard that now is 3 statements, 3 phrases, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you heard this statement, describe for me exactly where you were. What were you doing and who was around you?
I was knelt at the head of John O'Keefe with a bag valve mask, delivering ventilations. Firefighter Kelly was to the right, and Firefighter Flamati was on the left side of Mr. O'Keefe, and the 3 of us together were working to perform CPR and ventilations.
Yes, it was just someone who asked if I was going to share the evidence that's been presented at trial, and I said normally you will clip them and put them onto Discords. Sorry, I'm eating.
You're good.
And your job, and I hate to butcher it, but
Nope.
you'll correct me.
Yes, sir.
Your job was to do the airway, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm picturing a big balloon-like apparatus that you put over the patient's mouth and
Exactly.
squeeze it.
Yes.
That's as opposed to, it's an advancement on just mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
You were the airway person doing the squeezing of the bag.
Correct.
What was Tony Flamati, firefighter Flamati, doing?
He was starting CPR, in which that point was taken over by Firefighter Kelly.
Okay, so firefighter Flamati, when you say starting CPR, describe
Chest
what that
compressions.
means. What is the physical act of CPR?
So you put both hands together like this, one on top of the other.
No, he's wearing the same tie. And Eileen, Brennan is not worth watching, but you should do it just to hate him as much as the rest of us. AJ was better than Yannetti.
Yeah.
Put it right on top of the sternum, and you begin doing chest compressions 2 inches deep, allowing full recoil for 100 to 120 beats per minute, compressions a minute to sustain a cardiac rhythm. You're manually making the heart beat with each compression.
Which means that is a rhythmic pumping motion, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if you see someone doing CPR, you're probably going to see their shoulders moving up and down and moving rhythmically, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember what firefighter Flamati was wearing?
Giggity.
You had just come off of actually, you were just coming onto a shift, so you didn't have all your foul weather gear officially, correct?
I had my puffy jacket.
Okay.
I had my Canton Fire jacket.
Got it. Firefighter Flamati, on the other hand, had a bright yellow jacket,
Correct.
sort of reflective and a safety jacket.
Yes, sir.
And he was kneeling to your left at the time doing, have I got that right?
Yep, you got that right.
Okay, he's kneeling to your left at the time doing chest compressions. That's when you indicate that Miss Reed walked over and made the statement.
Correct.
And Kelly was there as well.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
guess
Kneeling right
that's not on the
beside
camera.
all three of you as Firefighter Flamati was giving the chest compressions, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You indicated that the statement was in response to a question that you asked of my client. Do you know him?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Correct.
And she responded to you with the phrase that you've used. I hit him.
I hit him.
Right. So it's absolutely clear in your mind when that statement was made. You were knelt down over Mr. O'Keefe. Firefighter Flamati was doing the CPR, and Kelly was with the both of you when you posed that question.
Yes, sir.
I bet that's not how it's going
It's
to
a
look.
very detailed memory.
Yes, sir.
You indicated, Mr. Brennan, that sticks out in your mind.
Is
that right?
It does.
Poor sap.
But that's not at all what you told Trooper Proctor on February 8th, just 10 days after this incident, is it?
I don't recall what I told Trooper
Oh.
Proctor.
I thought your memory got better with time.
I don't recall that meeting. I recall meeting with him, but I don't recall the extent of what was discussed.
You literally don't recall anything that was discussed in that meeting in that formal interview with the lead detective on this case.
We discussed the case, but I don't, in his words, I'm not sure what he put down.
The proctor, formerly known as
What
Trooper.
you said to Trooper Proctor on February 8th, 10 days after this, was you overheard Miss Reed say, I hit him one time to another female that she was talking to. Correct?
Objection. No, I'll
Oh, did you see how he looked over instantly? Brennan was
Well-
ready to pop up.
That's what I was going to say. That just means Brennan jumped up or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Val,
yeah,
Did you say that?
I have no memory of this, Your Honor.
Okay,
Well-
next question.
Well,
Let's refresh his memory.
Did you say that her statement was an answer to a question posed by the female or a discussion with the female?
Break that down for me, sir.
Sure. Did you tell Trooper Proctor on February 8th that what you heard?
Objection is really ruining my case that I made him lie on the stand. That's his objection. Yeah,
It
get the
doesn't matter.
transcript.
doesn't matter what the objection is. Bev's going to make one up.
Bev needs to give this to them because remember, this is the second trial. The second trial only gets better from the defense because they can bring out his testimony from the last trial and they can bring out the transcripts. He changed his story again, and I will be magical Meg right now. You will see a lot of witnesses who have very clear memory of Karen Reed running around on the scene saying, yeah, that mother effer, I unalived him. He deserved it. And then she walked out and stamped on his head. And magically, they never really thought about it before now. They will say exactly, because as you have to remember when you'll then say, well, that's perjury. No, it's only perjury if you lie against the state. If you lie on behalf of the state, it's
Who's
just
going to charge you?
They don't charge you because your memory just gotten better. When you have 3 meetings with them and remember, oh, all the things I've said up until now, I misremembered.
This is how it really
Reed
happens.
Speaking to a female, not answering a question that you posed.
Again, I don't recall that specific question.
Let's get to...
Did you tell Trooper Proctor on February 8th while you were rendering aid, and at the time you heard the statement, Miss Reed was actually praying over John? Your words, praying over John.
I don't recall ever saying that.
Well... Whoops.
Well,
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
lucky for you, we have Miss Court Reporter Who writes
Yeah,
down
we have Trooper
everything
Proctor's
said?
report. So Trooper Proctor lied when he wrote that down?
Oh no.
Boom, boom, boom. Why is Janetti looking so perplexed?
Did you say that you observed Karen Reed to have blood on her face from providing mouth-to-mouth breaths to Mr. O'Keefe prior to your arrival?
I remember Miss Reed having blood on her face, presumably from attempting CPR.
Do you remember telling Trooper Proctor on February 8th that you saw her with blood on her face from CPR?
I do.
So you remember that portion of your conversation with Trooper Proctor, correct?
Yes, sir.
She's
But
there,
the
yes.
praying over John, praying over the victim, you don't remember.
I don't remember ever saying that,
And
ever.
And the statement, I hit him to another female, you also don't remember that.
No, sir.
Would it refresh your recollection if you were to look at a report
Yes, sir.
authored by Trooper Proctor? May I?
Yes.
And now he's going to testify that, oh, I didn't say that. He must have taken it down wrong. Remember when Jen said that every time she didn't remember
May I
saying
direct the
stuff?
witness's attention to the second page, Your Honor?
All right, why don't you take a look at that?
Oh, this is such a bad look.
And this is just the poor paramedic. This guy doesn't even have shit to do with it.
I don't.
Wait till they get a hold of Brian Albert this time around. Oh my God, they're going to eat him alive.
Yeah, they probably went out and talked to people.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I can understand why.
Sir, did you have an opportunity to glance at the report that you were just shown?
Yes, sir.
Does that refresh your recollection about your conversation with Trooper Proctor that he put in a report?
It does not, sir.
So as you sit here, you have no memory of what you just read in this report from Trooper Proctor, the lead investigator on the case.
I have no recollection of ever saying that anybody prayed over anybody ever in this case.
So
You did see it in his report, though.
Right?
Sustained.
You've admitted under oath that your memory of the events at that time, from that time frame, January, February 2022, is faulty, correct?
No, sir.
In your April 2024, it's April 30th, 2024 testimony from last year. You were asked whether or not your memory was a little faulty, and your answer was absolutely, correct?
Could I have a page and number,
Where is
please?
that, Mr. Jackson?
Volume 8, page 151, lines 14 through 16.
It was by Unetti, I think.
Brennan, you're so shit out of luck. You thought you could come in, make a cool $250,000.
Well, she
And
did. He did.
he did, but he's also going to be raked over the coals. Karen Reed had a team of great lawyers, and they had a team of volunteers who sat and looked for all of this. They have page numbers, they have lines, they have words, they have everything they need.
Lines 14 through 16. I'll just allow counsel to get that up.
If we could pose the entire question and give content to it, please.
The content is he asked last year.
May I?
Yeah, so do you intend to show the whole question?
The whole question that I asked and his answer, yes.
All right, and I'll give you the opportunity on redirect, Mr. Brennan, if it's not. Go ahead.
Isn't it true that in answer to the question, quote, so it's fair to say your memory is a little bit faulty as it pertains to that time frame? Your answer was absolutely. Correct?
From last year?
What you testified to last year about conversations that you had with Trooper Proctor around February 8th of 2022.
Yes, sir.
And you would agree, as you sit here, that your memory is still faulty about your conversation with him.
With
correct?
Trooper Proctor? Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So you're not saying you didn't say that the statement was made to a woman, correct?
Objection.
Are you saying that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, next question.
Thank you. And you're also not saying that you didn't say to Trooper Proctor that you saw Karen Reed praying over John O'Keefe.
Objection.
So I'd like you to ask that differently. Did you say that?
I have no recollection of saying that ever.
Do you deny it?
Next question.
My point is, if you have no recollection of it, you're not denying saying it.
Objection.
Are you denying saying it?
Yes.
So you do have a recollection that you never said it. You understand the difference?
Oh, sir, I don't believe I've ever said praying. That's really not something that I would have said. I didn't see it that day. It didn't happen. I don't remember ever saying prayed
You didn't
in regards
see
to
it
this case ever.
You didn't see it that day, and it never happened. That was your words just now, correct?
Because Jen
Break
McCabe
that down
said
for
it
me.
did.
You didn't see it that day, and it never happened. That's what you're saying about the praying statement, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in that same exact statement, you also
Outstanding.
included the phrase, I hit him, correct?
No, sir.
In the statement that you made to Trooper Proctor,
The report that Trooper Proctor wrote?
correct?
You just
Again,
read it.
I don't remember ever saying the words praying over him. I do distinctly remember I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Which doesn't appear in that report, does it?
Objection.
I'm going to sustain that, Mr. Jackson. You directed him only to page 2.
Understood, Your Honor.
This is pretty brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
He's putting him in a position where either he's a liar,
I'd like
Proctor's
to
a
show
liar,
you
or Jen
short
McCabe's a
portion
liar,
of
or
the
all
video,
three.
the same video that you were asked to look
It's
at
pretty brilliant.
on direct examination. And Your Honor,
That's actually something Bev said a lot of times last year during objections. She said, you have to break it down, Mr. Jackson. She said that a lot in the first trial. But if you didn't, because I didn't cut the voice, the audio, maybe Valhalla try and say it again, what you just said.
About what? Oh, this is absolutely brilliant. So what Jackson's doing right now, one of three things has to be possible. Either he's lying, the paramedic, or Trooper Proctor's lying in his report, or Jen McCabe's lying about the praying. So this one line of questioning proves, or at least points out, that one of these three for sure is a liar.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant line of questioning. It's absolutely brilliant.
Because he can then cross it with Jen later and said, well, he stated he never saw her praying. So
he said,
are you saying
it didn't happen that day? He never saw it. It didn't happen.
Yeah. So, then she'll say, well, I saw it. And then it doesn't make sense that he claims that I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Can't they show him his last statement? No, but they can show him his testimony from last year. They don't have a court reporter who can do readback. She uses the mouth thing.
He's going to make every one of these people a
Right to the
liar
court,
before they
I
ever
can
get on the
certainly
stand.
mark it
Yeah.
as a
Yeah,
defense
awesome.
exhibit or for
So is this
identification.
going to be an exhibit by agreement?
It is.
It
Okay,
is.
So we now that, Madam Court Reporter, thank you.
More importantly,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Island,
With court's permission, may I play a
most of
portion
them
of that
aren't
video
going to be
for the
telling the
jurors to publish
truth.
it?
Okay.
We can't believe any of
Video.
them.
I'm going to start it at about, I want to say 6:55.
Yeah, but the problem is he didn't say Proctor made it up. And that ship, in my opinion, have sailed. They should have tossed the case and said, we still believe she's innocent, but Proctor made so many mistakes that we have to drop the case. We believe she's guilty, is what I meant to say. We believe she's guilty, but because of Proctor's bad police work, we can't prove it because there's so many mistakes in his report and the evidence collected. So we will have to let her go, but it's still our opinion that Karen Reed did it. And everyone would have gotten off with their clean hands. Karen Reed would be out. The DA's office would be out of it. They can't. She can't sue them for anything, and Proctor would be the bad guy. Timing out sack jar. Well,
Mr. Wall could cue that up. Before you play it, can we have it on that screen as well, or is it only playing to this screen?
I don't know. When Ms. Gilman did it, it was both. Great.
There we go. All right. Before we play it, can I ask you a quick question about this?
Sure.
It appears that this is paused. Do you recognize this as being the same video that you were shown this morning by Mr. Brennan?
I do.
All right. Describe the scene.
So that is 34 Fairview Road. The lights in the background, I believe it is either right as we pulled up or right as we're pulling up.
Okay. Same dash cam video.
Yes, sir.
Can we scroll this to the 6:55 runtime spot, please? Pause it. Okay. Do you see the individual on the left? Far left.
Yeah, the jacket?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Who's that?
I believe that's firefighter Flamati.
You previously indicated that when you heard Ms. Reed make this statement, the firefighter Flamati was on his knees providing CPR at the same time you were knelt down providing the airway.
This isn't when it was
That's
stated.
not my question. Is that what you said?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. You indicated earlier when you heard this statement by my client, you were very detailed. Firefighter Flamati was knelt down providing chest compressions at the same time you were knelt down providing airway support for Mr. O'Keefe, correct?
I had also said that at some point,
That's a
firefighter
yes or no
Flamati
question.
So I'm going to let the witness answer the question.
had transferred CPR to firefighter Kelly. Firefighter Kelly did take over compressions at one point.
Okay. That's not my question.
Okay.
My question's an easy one. Did you say that when Ms. Reed walked over to you and you had this dialogue with her, she made that statement that firefighter Flamati was on his knees providing chest compressions at the same time you were knelt down providing airway support?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Firefighter Flamati, your testimony appears to be standing up right there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's play the video forward for just a second. Stop it.
Can we see the
What
video?
did you see firefighter Flamati do just now?
I believe he just knelt down.
Okay. So at this point, he's kneeling for the first time, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he's about to provide chest compressions as your memory serves, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and play it forward. Pause. Do you see my client in that photo? I'm sorry, in that clip?
No, sir.
You didn't see her?
Oh, no, I did see her. Yeah. I don't see her on right now.
Right. She just walked off frame, correct?
Sure.
Let's go ahead and play it forward. Stop it. You see my client walk back into the frame?
Yes, sir.
At this point, you were watching firefighter Flamati. He appears to be now providing CPR, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. And my client is nowhere near you, correct? At least for this clip.
No, sir.
Okay.
Correct.
And the clip that I just played before, the few seconds that I played before, nowhere near you, correct?
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and play it forward.
Any minute now, she'll go over and say it.
Pause it, please. What do you see happening on the screen from screen right to screen left at this juncture?
We're bringing in the stretcher.
Okay, go ahead and play it. Pause it. Do you see where my client is right now?
You back it up 2 seconds. I'm sorry, I lost
With the
view.
court's permission, I need to ask the
Yes.
court's permission. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and play it. Pause. Did you see my client?
Yes, sir.
Where is she in the frame?
Behind that other individual.
Behind the SUV?
I believe she's in front of the SUV and behind the other individual.
Okay. I'm at the SUV, that's the white SUV that's in
Yes, sir.
the far distance.
Yes.
That's the back of the SUV. She's behind it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Not near you.
No.
Okay. Let's go ahead and play it.
Do you think he feel like he made a dum-dum now?
Go ahead and pause it. Do you see what firefighter Flamati is still doing throughout this entire clip?
Chest compressions?
Okay. Let's go ahead and play it. Pause. What's happening now?
We're Mr. O'Keefe's on the scoop stretcher and he's being transferred to the ambulance stretcher.
So that's the entire time Mr. Flamati, firefighter Flamati, was giving chest compressions. It's captured right here on this video, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now Mr. O'Keefe is up on the stretcher, and you are no longer knelt down,
No, sir.
and firefighter Flamati is no longer knelt down,
No, sir.
and you're now following the stretcher with, it looks like, 2 or 3 other EMTs, correct?
I am not in that frame, sir.
Okay, so you've walked away.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and play it forward.
Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum,
Pause it.
ba-dum.
You see where my client is?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and play it. Do you see firefighter Flamati or firefighter Kelly continuing to give chest compressions?
Yes, sir.
Which one is that? Do you know?
I believe it's firefighter Flamati.
Flamati?
Believe so.
Okay, so he's still doing all the chest compressions from start to finish.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But didn't he say they switched?
Yeah, he did.
And what's happening right now?
Now we are transferring to ambulance 1.
And where's my client?
Right front and center.
Now just move on.
Yes.
So when exactly did she tell you this?
Yeah. When did she walk over, look at you in the eyes and say, yeah, this a-hole, yeah, he was talking about Brenda, so I just clipped him with the car.
If I may have just a second.
He actually might get PTSD from his testimony today.
Yeah. But it was bad last year from McLaughlin, but not bad enough that you should have PTSD, but probably
With
because...
regard, just a couple of more questions with the court's permission. Okay. I'm going to change gears. With regard to what you talked about on direct examination, the hypothermic conditions, you're not a medical doctor, correct?
No, sir.
You don't diagnose patients?
Sir.
You're not diagnosing that John O'Keefe suffered from hypothermia that night?
No, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have.
I would have stated, so when did she do it, just for the jury to figure out 100% what you were saying.
Yeah. So when was it exactly?
Yeah, was it at any point, or did you just make it up?
Firefighter Nuttall, the video
hate
the
this
defense
guy.
just showed you, did you notice any differences between that video and when I showed it to you, and that it doesn't have the time on it?
Yes, those were 2 different time frames on that video.
And when we spoke about when the defendant
Hold
said
on.
to you, I hate
How many
my hate-
times did you wheel him into the ambulance? Just once, right? Then I think it's pretty much the same timeline, bro. What are you getting at?
2 different time frames, so you did...
Did a mock
What?
run? What are you saying here, man? Woo! Oh, I hate this guy. I hate him, Baker. I hate him. I hate him.
That's going to be a recross on that.
That wasn't shown to you in that video just now, was it?
No, it was not.
So if we go back, will you be able to explain where you came from and firefighter Flamati came from and when you first went over to John O'Keefe?
Sure.
With the court's permission, Ms. Gilman, if you could start that video. I think it is 6:11, please.
It's not
Stop it there.
Flamati.
Do you see that this exhibit has timestamp on the top?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please continue.
We edited that timestamp in there to make sure that we know what we're talking about. It's not accurate, but we edited it in there. Oh, and I'll be back. Jesus Christ, man.
Could you stop, please? Do you see the red lights on the left?
Yes, sir.
Is that when you believe that you first arrived?
Yes, sir.
And that note says
Nope. He said, I think it could be when we arrived, but he wasn't sure.
6:11:05. Could you continue, please, Ms. Gilman?
Oh, sorry. Let me big screen it for all of you. And as you could hear, she was screaming, Jen, Jen, there. And now they're walking over there. That's the one we saw before.
Please watch to the left. Stop, please. Is that when you first arrived and walk over to help John O'Keefe?
Yes, sir. That's me.
I'll note that the timestamp is 6:11:21. Okay, continue, please. Stop, please. Did you see firefighter Flamati come after you?
Yes, sir.
Was any of this shown to you during those questions?
No, sir.
Continue, please. Stop, please. Do you see the defendant in that screen?
Yes, sir.
Do you see her moving from right to left towards you?
Sustained as to the form.
Okay. What direction do you see her running on that screen from right to left?
She's running towards where the three of us are grouped.
Okay, please continue. Stop, please.
So in those 3 seconds is when she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, while looking in his eyes when he was bent over doing CPR compressions. 3 seconds. She ran over there. All the other times she's been screaming, hollering, but in those 3 seconds, she ran over, looked him in the eyes and said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. For those of you who didn't watch the first trial, no one else testified like that.
Is it at that time the defendant said to you that she hit him?
Yes, sir.
And you remember that?
I do.
I'm done with the tape. Thank you very much. Now, you were asked questions about your memory.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were asked the questions about Trooper Proctor, when you were saying that you didn't remember, were you referring to the conversation with Trooper Proctor, or were you suggesting you didn't remember what happened that morning?
I don't remember the interview with Trooper Proctor. I remember it happened. I don't remember the substance of what was discussed entirely. I remember we discussed that morning, but
Do you know if that conversation was recorded or just a conversation between you and the trooper?
I do not know if it was recorded.
You asked questions. I want to ask you about questions on Mr. O'Keefe, and you mentioned that there was some type of blood clotting on the back of his head.
Yes, sir.
You noticed there were abrasions on his right arm.
Yes, sir.
You noticed there was a hematoma on the right side of his head.
Yes, sir.
A
Did you see any bruising on his
hematoma?
right knee?
I don't
Is
recall,
that a
sir.
cigar?
Did it stand out to you that all of his injuries, all of them that you saw, other than the cut on the back of the head, that they were all on his right side?
Yes, sir.
Did you notice any hematomas on his left side?
I did not.
Did you notice any scratches or abrasions on his left side?
Sorry, do we have any medical personnel? Isn't it a hematoma? It's not a hematoma. He said the dried blood matters. Yeah.
I did not.
Did you notice any marks that would be consistent with an altercation on the left side of his body?
I did not.
You were asked about the cause, and you said that you don't know the cause. You weren't there. were you?
Hematoma.
No, sir.
You asked if it was consistent with being punched, and you said it could be.
Yes, sir.
Could it be consistent with being clipped by a car?
Sustained as to the form.
You were asked questions about clothing,
Yes, sir.
and you had at one point said you thought that Mr. O'Keefe was wearing a winter
Hematoma.
jacket. Do you have any memory that when you first got there, or when you first got there, do you have any memory whether there were any towels wrapped around Mr. O'Keefe's head?
I remember there was a white cloth of some sort on the scene.
Okay. And when you were asked about your memory regarding the clothing, was the clothing of what was utmost importance to you at that time?
No, sir.
And why is that?
I was, again, focused on Mr. O'Keefe's airway and ventilation.
Okay.
And
And
what
when you were
Karen Reed
asked
said.
about the clothing, do you remember if you added anything else about your certainty or uncertainty about clothing when you previously gave a statement or testimony?
I believe when I testified last year, I did note I had no part in removing any articles of clothing or anything like that. That was not my job in the back of the truck.
Do you remember any recognition of the fact whether you were certain or not about clothing?
Repeat the question, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, is there anything?
Oh, now we come back into the part where you're asking this guy to think on his feet, and he's not good at that.
No, he's
Refresh
not.
your memory about what you had said about clothing.
Ask a different question first.
You had mentioned that you had some difficulty about clothing. Do you remember what you had previously said?
I remember there was some difficulty of getting the individual's
puffy
fingers
coat
through
off it?
clothing just because they were so cold. They were difficult to manipulate. Just they really was not conducive to getting clothing off easily.
You met with me 3 times.
Yes, sir.
I had not met you before any of your prior testimonies, had I?
No, sir.
Do you remember meeting with me and discussing this case with me?
I do.
Do you remember me asking you to tell me what you remember?
I do.
Do you remember what I told you about testimony when you come into court?
Yes, sir.
What did I tell you?
I remember we discussed that just tell the truth.
Oh, that was good.
Did I tell you that it doesn't matter? There is no side. Doesn't matter if it helps or hurts, that you just tell the truth?
Sustain.
Did I ever suggest to you that you should stick to a story?
No, sir.
Did I ever suggest to you
What
you
are you
should
doing,
offer your
Brennan?
testimony in any certain way?
He's trying to clean up what he knows was a really bad cross-examination.
It's not going
When
to
I
work.
talked to you, did I ever ask you to say anything about your testimony to this jury?
No, sir.
Other than what?
Speak to the jury.
Did I need to tell you to tell the truth?
No, sir.
And in telling the truth, did the defendant say to you, I hit him, I hit him?
I'll allow it.
Yes, sir. 3 times.
And in fact, do you remember, in addition to her saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, when you asked her the question?
Objection
It's not-
leading? Isn't he leading the witness right now?
Is this
Kneeling
considered
down
cross?
over John O'Keefe's body.
You can.
Do you
lead on
remember-
cross, right?
If you ever talked about other times that she said it, not to you.
I do not.
Okay,
The answer is I do not. Next question.
okay. Do you remember testifying previously in this case?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this poor sap.
I love that the auntie says, what kind of asshole goes after a first responder? Their only job is to save life. Not a good look. Well, a lying sack of shit. You could go after those. Doesn't mean just because you. Do you ever watch Dexter? It was just he was just helping saving crimes and unaliving bad guys. Why would anyone put him in prison?
Yeah.
The aunties are so stupid.
Do you remember at all discussing whether or not, after she left you, whether or not the defendant was still talking and speaking?
I'm sorry, sir. Repeat the question.
Do you remember after the defendant left you and made that statement to you? Do you remember
This is so
talking?
bad.
Did you hear her speak to other people after you?
I heard her having conversations in the background, but that was not my focus at that time.
Okay. And during those conversations in the background, did you hear her talk about that same issue again?
I believe she said it several times, but the 3 times she said it to me were what stuck out to me.
Okay. And when she said it to other,
You
Hold
never
on.
mentioned that.
Hold
first
on.
trial.
And also, he testified today that she only said it 3 times, specifically 3 times, not 2.
Yeah, he
not
only
4,
heard it 3
3
times because she said it to him 3 times, and now, she was.
She might have said it to
she-
somebody else. Yeah.
She was on the phone calling her dad. Said, "Hey, Dad, you know what? Ooh,
I hit
weird
him, I hit him, I
night
hit
last
him."
night."
Oh my God.
Oh, that's why you don't want a witness to think on his feet. This is why you stick to the story you planned in the 3 meetings you had. You don't have this guy because this guy isn't a smart guy. You don't have him think on his feet and try to enforce what you're trying to sell. As cheap as he was.
Brennan.
other people, it wasn't directly to you?
No, sir.
So watch the form of the question, Mr.
And when
Brennan,
she said it to-
stating the objection.
When she said it to other people, do you know who she said it to?
I do not.
I'll allow it.
When she
So
said
the answer is I do not.
Do you remember when she said it other times, who she said it to?
I'm going to see counsel at sidebar for this.
Yeah, go to sidebar because
That's why you're here.
Again,
sorry. That was a quick sidebar.
I'm really surprised Aaron's there.
It's been a month already. Sticky Wick
Nice.
widget. Thank you for the month.
Nice.
Oh my god, this is so bad. It's worse than I thought.
Hey,
So
that's
does
the
Reno
cop
not-
that got booted out of the first trial, isn't it? For,
Yeah,
like,
and why is he
shoulder
allowed to
checking
wear?
Karen?
Why is he allowed to wear a cop pin on his shirt?
I thought those weren't allowed.
Yeah, and again, notice that Daddy O'Keefe is not sitting next to Mama O'Keefe.
They don't live in the same house anymore.
No.
Sir, after the defendant came over to you and spoke and then left, do you remember hearing her make further statements?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember her making further statements similar
I do.
to the statement to you?
Yes, sir.
Could you share with the jury what you remember her saying, not to you, but after she left you?
I remember hearing I hit him several other times. Again, not directed to me, just kind of off in the background.
No way.
This
But,
is
like,
so
really,
crazy.
really focused on the patient at that point.
No
We were trying to
way.
provide care.
Thank you, sir.
What the hell?
Thank you,
Thank you, Sticky
Widget, for
Widget.
becoming a member. I appreciate it. You're a member of the goat herd, and you get awesome new emojis now, like Fluffy here. Enjoy.
Yeah,
So now, after Mr. Brennan asks you a few questions,
No way.
now you remember her saying, I hit him a bunch more times.
I remember hearing it in the background several other times.
Really?
Sir,
Never mentioned that on direct examination, did you?
I don't remember being asked about it, sir. I remember saying what was asked to me.
You were asked, did you ever hear the defendant, Ms. Reed, say anything about I hit him? And your answer was, she said to me, in answer to my question, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him 3 times, and that's it.
To me.
You didn't clarify that, oh my gosh, she's running around like a chicken with her head cut off, screaming I hit him to everybody else under the sun.
It was, again, it was behind me in the background
Right?
as I was providing patient care. Again, that was not my focus.
Okay, so you didn't really hear her say anything in the background because you weren't focused on that, right?
I remember hearing a generalized commotion in the background, but again, that was not our focus.
Generalized,
So generalized commotion is very different than hearing her say, I hit him to other people, correct? You'd agree with that.
Yes, sir.
So what you actually heard was the chaos and the commotion of a chaotic scene, correct? In the background,
In the background.
as you focused on your patient care, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, not specific words coming out of my client's mouth, correct?
To the question that I posed, do you know him?
You're right. We're off that question.
Okay.
That question, I got it.
Yes, sir.
Triple I hitters.
Correct.
But with regard to what Mr. Brennan just asked you, the generalized commotion, to use your phrase,
Mhm.
in the background, you didn't hear any specific words coming out of my client's mouth, did you?
I heard I hit him,
More times.
but
now.
again, it was in the background and it was not my focus.
And it wasn't loud
Why
enough
didn't
to
you
be
say
on
that
the
direct?
body
That's
cam or
not
the dash cam.
point. That's why you're here.
Again, if it was neglected on my part, it was not intentional.
amazing she confessed it to a random firefighter and all the officers who were standing around at the scene who thought, nah, she just confessed to killing him. Should we hold her? Should we say, what did you hit him with? No. Should we put it in a
question
report?
her a little bit?
Should we just send her with Carrie from the scene? And then when she calls her dad, and her dad
With
had
the
her
murder
section
weapon?
12.
Send her
Then-
back to the murder weapon.
Yeah, then send her back so she can pick up the murder weapon at the house. And then 10 hours later, we'll pick it up at her parents' house where they could have disposed of all the evidence.
You know what? I did feel bad for this guy. I don't anymore. This guy's a putz. He's an
Hanky
idiot.
panky, when you're prepping your next witness, give them this advice. Don't think on your feet. I've told you what to say. I will ask you this question. You say yes. This question, you say no. Don't think on your feet. You're not smart enough, especially when smart people are asking you questions, because you just impeached yourself.
Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible.
If this had been a defense witness, he would right now be charged with perjury.
Oh, yeah.
Unintentional to neglect that part for the jurors on direct examination.
No, sir.
Certainly not intentional to neglect that part of your testimony on cross-examination.
No, sir.
But you decided to bring it up on on recross examination when Mr. Brennan is asking you questions again, correct?
It was asked of me. Yes,
And
sir.
it was after, of course, that your new statement that you've never testified to before, ever. is this generalized commotion included a bunch of I hit hims in the background, correct?
Sir,
And that comes after you saw the video that clearly showed that you described having heard this statement. My client was nowhere around you, correct?
that segment of the video that you showed me,
Yes.
that was not the time frame in which she said that to me.
Well, that was the time frame when Flamati was giving CPR, correct?
He was doing CPR down prior to that as well.
Really?
Yes, sir.
You saw him standing up
Yeah.
in a big yellow.
This is. I'm sorry. I have to tell a little story from some of my layman duties, because this happens a lot with witnesses, especially if it's a defendant who testifies. They don't understand that, oh, I'm so smart, I can talk my way out of this. Oh, fuck, I said something stupid. I said it was when Flamati was sitting next to me and he showed me that video and Flamati was not. I'll just make it up. I'll just keep making stuff up. This makes you very untrustworthy as a witness because the jury are not idiots. I know you probably forgot there's 12 people sitting right next to you staring at your lying face who saw you do the I can't breathe. You're an idiot and your mouth put you in this position because you're not smart enough. Your mouth should do the trick that some of us YouTubers also should do. Breathe in, let the thought go to your head, and then breathe out again with the words. Don't just let the words pop out of your mouth. Just send it through your brain first.
This is going to be
Jacket.
such a better
And
trial.
then kneel down and
Yeah.
start giving CPR. We just watched that video. Right.
But again, the clip of the video that you showed me,
Right.
that was not the segment in which she said that to me.
Well, that's what you're saying now, but what I'm asking is, you described a very distinctive scene, a very, very specific scene.
Yes, sir. I remember it vividly.
She said that I hit him phrase when Lamani was down giving CPR and you were kneeling down giving airway support and he was doing rhythmic CPR chest compression.
Yes, sir. That's what happened.
And then I showed you that very scene, didn't I?
Yes, you showed me that clip prior to that.
I showed you the very scene that you described where
Prior.
Flamani gets down and starts chest compressions and never stops until the gurney is taken off the frame of the camera to the Isn't that what I showed you?
That is
Sure. I don't know if I can do it again. I showed you the scene where firefighter Flamani gets down on his knees, begins chest compressions, and never stops until that gurney is taken off camera, off frame, into the ambulance. That's the clip I showed you, correct?
that is the clip you showed me.
And that's exactly when you described your vivid memory from 3.5 years ago. That's exactly the scene that you described when my client supposedly said, I hit him to you, correct?
Again, the clip that you showed me, that was not when it was said. That segment that you showed, that was not when it was said. It was said prior to that, when the
Yeah.
three of us were together.
So Flamati was not giving chest compressions then.
He was. The CPR was a continuous effort throughout the resuscitation.
But we saw him start it. Firefighter Nuttall, we saw him start it. We saw him walk into the frame, kneel down, and begin the chest compressions, didn't we?
We did.
So he,
And at no point at that time or after did my client even approach you, did she, in that clip?
She did.
What?
Objection.
Oh, you're an idiot, bro.
Just a question.
Sure,
Mr.
sure.
What is a question? That was a
Can you see
question, Bev.
that clip again?
Yes, please.
We're not going to show the video again. We've seen 2 videos. Which one is?
why are they?
Oh,
This
she's-
guy he's being impeached by prior statements, and you're not allowing them to show the evidence that this guy's lying. Bias, Bev. Grab a white
That's
claw.
super bias. That's super bias. She's running protection now already.
Yeah, she knows this is bad. She knows this is real bad.
Oh, Bev, I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible.
The The
The
Commonwealth.
one with the timestamp in
Right.
the
It's
top?
the exact same video. One has timestamp, one doesn't.
Yes, show the full video
Just to
with
be
the
clear.
timestamp.
You described a very detailed scene in which firefighter Flamati got down on the ground on his knees and began CPR.
Yes, sir.
We saw a clip that it played fully through.
Mhm.
Starts and stops, but it played fully through, correct?
Yes, sir.
That was true and accurate video of what happened that day,
Yes, sir.
that morning, correct?
Correct.
And from the time firefighter Flamati began his CPR, he never stopped. Went all the way through until the burn was taken off the camera, correct?
Correct.
You also described very clearly before you saw the video that the time when my client walked over and you had this dialogue and you heard this statement, it was during the time that firefighter Flamati was given CPR, correct? You described it.
Yes, sir.
But when we actually see firefighter Flamati giving the CPR, as per your description, at no time did my client walk over and have a conversation. Did she? In
She-
that video?
She did in the video.
She did.
In the portion that Mr.
Did.
Brennan played you, was firefighter Flamati giving CPR at that point?
As I said previously
Was
as well.
he or was he not? Yes or no?
Objection.
I'm going to let the witness answer the question.
Yeah.
Firefighters Kelly and Flamati were trading off CPR.
That's not what you said.
Tony started
idiot.
doing CPR, and it was passed off at one point to Firefighter Kelly. Firefighter Kelly at that time was a BLS EMT. Firefighter Flamati was a paramedic. They're going to move towards Firefighter Kelly performing CPR because at that time his skill set was not as advanced as Firefighter Flamati's.
Please answer the question. In the clip he showed you, was Flamati doing CPR? We don't care who had what training. You are just impeaching yourself, you idiot.
He's trying to
As
back
Thomas.
up his
But they
theory
did
or
switch
statement
off.
with these
That is a
factual
routine
anecdotes.
cardiac arrest. We switch off compressions.
But the video that Mr. Brennan showed you was earlier in time, a few seconds or a minute or two earlier.
Yes, sir.
You'd agree with that, correct?
I would.
And firefighter Flamati had not begun CPR, had he?
I don't believe so.
That's right. He hadn't. But that's the time
Moron.
that my client walked over your general area, correct?
Correct.
Before CPR was started, correct?
CPR was started immediately, sir.
Can we wrap this up?
I don't know if we
Nope.
can, Judge.
Nope. Your Honor, this is a murder case. We have a lying witness. You can tell we have a lying witness.
No shit.
You don't
If he
tell
knows it.
the defense to wrap it up. You didn't tell Brennan to wrap it up when he was leading this motherfucker more than Rossman leads her donkeys around. I think it's probably Dominic who
Doing the lead.
leads her around. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is
can
a
relate to that.
murder case. It's not just a speeding ticket.
Give you a couple more minutes.
Unbelievable.
Do you understand the confusion?
Objection.
Sustained.
All right, a couple more questions on this. The video that Mr. Brennan showed you,
Yes, sir.
and you pointed to and said, oh, that's the time when she walked over and said the statement.
Yes, sir.
Remember that?
I do.
Firefighter Flamati was not even kneeling down giving CPR, was he at that point?
No,
The answer is yes or no.
no.
Okay, he was not. Later,
We got
as
there.
as the video continues to run, at some point, we see firefighter Flamati enter the screen, kneel down in that bright, reflective yellow jacket, and begin CPR, correct?
Yes, sir.
You had previously said that when you heard the statement and she walked over to you, it was when firefighter
Hey, Mo.
Flamati was giving CPR, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at
Can I
no
get
point-
secondhand cringe embarrassment cancer?
We all have it now.
I'm pretty sure I feel a lump growing on my kidney. Also, is it hematoba?
Hey, Tom
Have I
Cruise.
been saying it wrong this entire
Yeah.
time?
I think it's I'm sorry, English isn't my first language, so I've been saying, oh, he had a hematoma on his face. It is a hematoba.
This
It's
is going to
named
be the
after-
longest trial ever, y'all.
We're not going
No,
to
but
get through this witness.
it's named after the Canadian city Manitoba, because the
Oh,
first
that
person
makes a
in
lot more
history who
sense.
ever had a hematoma on his face fell on the ice in Manitoba. That's
Oh
where
my
they said,
God.
oh,
Okay,
kind of like anyone who finds a bug gets to name it. The doctor who treated that saying, oh, he has a weird red mark in his face. I've never seen that before. What should we call it? Hey, my name is Hema. Oh, funny, and we're in
Okay.
Manitoba. Let's put it together. It's a hematoba.
Oh,
also
that's
the
so
puffy jacket, that's not important now because he was saving a life. I thought he had the like laser focus of an army ranger / ninja turtle.
good.
And
You thought wrong. You thought wrong.
I say hematoba, you say hematoma.
At no point.
I say
We need-
tomato, you say tomato.
in my
I
time,
love it.
Mo and I will be practicing that song till tomorrow.
That was the
Red
segment
Solo
that you
Cup the
showed me.
musical.
You indicated on on redirect, that Mr. O'Keefe did not have any injuries to the left side of his body.
Not that I recall.
Isn't it true that
Hey, Tom.
in addition to the egg on the right side of his head, he also had a black eye on the left side?
I remember that the swelling had started to, it's referred to kind of as raccoon eyes. It's a bruising of both eyes.
Do you remember
battle
saying-
signs.
Do you remember saying, in answer to the question, did it look like, in addition to the egg on the right side of his head in the front, did he also have a black eye on the left side? Your answer is, if memory serves correct, yes.
Yes, sir.
So it's not true that he didn't have any injuries on the left side of his body or face,
How
correct?
can this be the first witness?
That
if it's
swelling
so bad?
kind of migrates over time to both sides. That is a common occurrence for both eyes to be swollen.
Did he have an injury to the left side of his face?
He did not.
Did he have a black left eye?
Yes, he did.
Would you consider
That's
a black
an
eye
injury.
an injury?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you the question again then. Did he have an injury to the left side of his
Oh,
face?
this
Yes,
guy
sir.
is terrible.
Baker, I think we can see his soul physically leaving his body.
Oh,
I don't.
he might move. He really might move to a different state and county.
Sir,
Can
I'm just
I
telling
get
you,
secondhand
invest in
PTSD
good
from being
wigs,
cross-examination?
Oh, this is terrible.
Did he have an injury? No. Is a black eye an injury? Yes. Did he have an injury? Yes.
it could be going better for the state.
Again, hanky-panky. Take it from someone who have been doing jury duty for close to 14 years now. Tell your witnesses not to think on their feet, even if they're trying to help you, because they sound really stupid and it sounds really, really like they're lying, even though he, of course, never lies. What in the holy hematoba is this?
Holy Heba-toba, Batman.
Oh,
He's got a hematoba. Someone stop him. It's fully automatic.
just wait for the third trial. Allison, don't you jinx us.
Oh my God, no.
No, I'm not doing the Riri trial.
One
Look,
last
I don't think the
question.
Habsburg
You,
jaw can take it.
indicated that it was a chaotic scene outside on that front yard.
Yes, sir.
No.
Fire engines, ambulances, patrol vehicles, engines running, diesel engines, flashing lights, people screaming, people talking.
Oh,
over the
this is
howling
good for
wind,
the Alberts.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see the homeowner come out the front door?
Don't recall.
You don't recall, or you didn't?
I have no idea who the homeowner is.
You
Liar.
never saw anybody come out the front of the house.
No, sir.
That's all I have.
One issue. Briefly.
Oh no,
I
not.
want to see counsel
He's a
sidebar.
liar.
Yeah. Can we just impeach him with lying on the stand?
How many
Special
direct
ADA agreement.
examinations is he going to get?
All of
I don't
them.
know.
Sidebar with Bev, she's holding court light. Got a claw in her hair, ropes a little too tight. Forgets the names but remembers the T. Sustained, she shouts, just a random lead. She's the queen of the bench, but don't ask her why.
I like that I made a sidebar song.
I
That's
love
good.
it.
I wish the H wasn't on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and fix that. Come on, rehabilitate your witness.
How many
Sir,
times?
Mr.
How many?
Jackson's questions, he asked
So he gets 2
if you had
redirects.
ever said that you heard the
This
defendant
is
say,
his
I hit him,
redirect.
It is. This is the third time he's
separate from
talking to
when
this
she
witness.
approached you. Do you remember previously testifying that you heard her saying, I hit him in the background separately from you?
Yes, sir.
You remember
When?
testifying that before under oath
Yes, sir.
in court?
I do.
When?
Anything, Mr. Jackson?
Where? When did who what? First, you only heard it twice and you were alone and you were the only one hearing it because you asked her what happened. Now
Am I the
you
only one
heard
freaking out? My bad.
now you have heard her running around on the scene constantly yelling, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. And you testified to that in the first trial? Did I miss something in the first trial?
Is he maybe talking about the grand jury?
I'm thinking they're looking at their spreadsheets right now and see if it happened anywhere.
Thank you, Brennan.
Yes.
Just a quick question, Firefighter Nuttall. When you were asked to recite your memory of that day on February 8th, 2022, just 10 days after this incident, did you ever say that you heard in the background, I hit him over and over again?
I don't recall.
All right.
When you testified at the grand jury, last question, when you testified at the grand jury, did you ever say that?
I don't recall.
But again, your memory is better now than it was then.
Yes, sir.
Yep, that's how memories work.
Next witness, Mr. Brennan?
Thank you. The Commonwealth calls Kerry Roberts.
Carrie Roberts, this fast?
Interesting. So Carrie Roberts, y'all,
Stand, I can have
is
you do it. I would like to
John
introduce
O'Keefe's
you.
friend.
Okay.
And this is clip 2.
She has a pretty
No objection.
poor
from the
opinion
defense?
of Karen Reed in general, and she was the one that was driving Karen Reed around the
marking
morning
this as
of
an
when they
exhibit?
found him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Why are they allowed to play this out of order and with no setup?
They're just going to get to play this?
Yeah,
Why?
before the witness, he liked to play this.
Have something for the court reporter to mark?
We can put it on a zip drive. We can discuss collecting all the clips and putting them on the same zip drive, or we can use different zip drives, whatever the court's preference is.
So we need something. So we need something.
the hell is
physical. You can play it
happening?
And then we'll mark it.
Could this have been discussed maybe before the trial,
Jim, isn't
Bev?
Yeah,
I can have this
They
marked, Your Honor.
stipulated to
Thank
it?
you.
What the hell is Lally doing other than pouting?
All right, Ms. Roberts, please. Okay, thank you.
We'd like to play this first and then call Ms.
Oh, okay,
Roberts.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I remember it, but I question, do I remember it because it's been relived so much? I mean, when I see the video of me driving from the waterfall, like what I just described, tapping the brakes when I crossed the intersection, Washington over Sherman Street, do I actually remember that I kind of slowly proceeded through that green light? No, I don't actually remember that. But I've seen the video so many times that you then question, did I remember on my own or was my memory chugged? But I also wondered, did I say, could I have hit him? Or was it told to me that I said I hit him? And I knew I never could have said that. So the closest I must have said was, did I hit him? I know I said I hit him, but did I really say this many times as law enforcement's claiming I said it?
Thank you. I now call Kelly Roberts.
Why
I would object heavily to that. Why did they allow this to be played?
Yeah, that would have been much more prejudicial than probative, I would think, especially when, again, this is why you don't do interviews.
Why are they allowed to play with no one to set up what it is? They're just playing random snippets of an interview. I know it's out of court. Then call, if it's Gretchen Voss, call her to
Right.
the stand and say, did she say this? What was the question leading into this?
That seems really shady. State could have gotten it in, but it might have also.
Thanks for showing this incredible trial for us real people in fake Arizona. Lori or Karen, I go Karen. Big Dog, thank you for going Karen with us. And it's our pleasure having all of you wonderful people here. This is the state could have gotten it in, but it might also come with a bunch of other parts of the video. The defense that was worse, so they just stipulated to this small snippet. Probably, but still, why play it now and why no setup? That's the thing I don't get. I could understand if you had Gretchen Voss on, so you had a keeper of the records. Now you just have, and is this it? Well, maybe if he's going back to it, but is it effectful when you just played? I didn't understand. What?
Well, is Carrie one of the people that she told this to? I'm trying to remember all the names.
No,
and
Carrie
honestly,
never heard her say that.
Then, yeah, it's apropos of nothing. It doesn't.
The only three people who heard Carrie, Karen say, I hit him, was the firefighters.
Didn't Jen
Right?
McCabe also say it? I think she said it for the first time last trial, if I remember correctly.
I thought I remember Jen McCabe saying it, but then again, I also came in and kind of didn't know who all these people were. So I'm trying to rewatch the old trial.
Jamie says Jen, and Jamie is always right. So
I think Carrie Roberts said that she heard, did I hit him? I think that's how that went. Right.
Yeah.
And Jen McCabe changed it to I hit him. And then the firefighters started picking it up. You know, the one that's not friends with the Alberts.
Yeah. Only is in hot tubs with them. Because I always spend time in hot. That's the weird thing.
Goes to the Cape every other year, apparently.
That's the weird thing when I sleep with the expert. He always say, well, we're saving water, so we have to get in the shower together. That's such a weird thing.
It happens. Deork
He's an
gifted 5 Baholo
environmentalist.
Awaits memberships. Thank you so much, Deork. You're amazing. I love you, buddy. Appreciate you. Congratulations, y'all.
Yeah. So Carrie is switching to I hit him now. Yeah, probably. I don't know what this is. Jen the free friend firewoman and this. Oh, Jen, the friend firewoman and this medic heard it. Thank you. I'm going to do a bio.
She went darker with her hair. Okay.
Still
All right,
doesn't
Mr.
trust
Brennan,
the
whenever you're
eyebrows
ready.
guy.
Thank you, Your
either.
Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Could you please introduce yourself to this jury?
Hi, my name is Carrie Roberts.
Ms. Roberts, where do you live?
I live in Canton, Massachusetts.
How long have you lived in the area for?
I was raised in the Boston area, North Shore, South Shore. I went to high school in Braintree and I moved to Canton about 12 years ago.
Do you live alone?
No, I live with my husband and 2 children.
How old are your children presently, this day?
My son is 13, my daughter's 15.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
Without identifying specifically where, can you share with us a little bit about what you do?
I'm an executive assistant and I've been with my company for 18 years.
Ma'am, if you could just move the microphone just a tiny bit closer. Thank you very much. You have 2 children, you're
Yes.
married,
Yes,
and you live in the area.
yes.
I want you to tell us
Those
whether
are real
you know a
eyebrows.
person by the name of John O'Keefe.
Yes, I do.
Would you be willing to share with us when you first met Mr. O'Keefe?
Well, I went to high school with John in Braintree. He played soccer. I played soccer. So we probably hung out in middle school, but we went to 2 different middle schools. And then I hung out with him more in high school. He was a year older than me. His sister was 2 years older than him in school, and his brother was younger. So at some point, I was in high school with each of his siblings.
Did you at some point become friendly with John O'Keefe?
Yes.
Could you tell us about that?
When his sister Kristen passed away, and then her husband Steve passed away, they lived in my neighborhood. John took over for the children and moved into my neighborhood as well.
When John took in the children, did you offer any assistance or any help to him?
Yes, before John was even going to take over, he was going to potentially move in with his brother-in-law and the children to help out. And then when his brother-in-law passed away unexpectedly, John took over, and I jumped in because I was a friend from high school that he knew, and he had all kinds of people helping, but he sort of said, I'm going to lean on you for right now because I know you best. And I knew his parents and his siblings. And so I introduced him to my husband, and we jumped in. It was, preschool drop-offs, preschool pickups for my son and his son. And just from then until the time of his death, we were just friends, very close friends, and we hung out all the time. The children hung out all the time, and he was the emergency contact list at my children's school to call if something had happened.
Were you close friends before he took over the care of the children?
No, I wasn't very close friends with him then.
Were you close with his family before he took over care of the children?
No.
Did your friendship with him develop after he took care of the children?
Yes.
You mentioned you have a son.
Yes, I do.
And is your son the same age as John's nephew?
Yes.
Was there any common interests or activities that engaged your son with John's nephew?
Well, they went to in-home daycare together. They went to preschool together. They went to pre-K together, and they went to elementary school. They played baseball together since they were T-ball. My son plays hockey. Patrick tried hockey. He didn't like that. So we spent a lot of time at the baseball fields together.
As you spent a lot of time together and had mutual care of children, did your relationship with him grow closer?
Yes.
And can you share a little bit with the jury how close?
How
you became?
close?
Well, John was a bachelor, and he didn't have any children of his own. So when he took over for the children, he sort of, leaned on us to kind of guide him and, all the things to do if there's someone has a headache and, if there's an ear infection or, he had his mom and dad also helping as well, but I was right up the street. So if I would go to BJ's, I would call and say, can I grab you anything?
Giggity.
Do what now?
I would go to Walmart, any of the places I would go, I would call and say, do you need anything? Can I help you? Can I grab something for you? And he did the same. We just sort of all chipped in and helped.
As your friendship grew, could you
This
tell us a little
friendship
bit
is way more sus than
about
I
your
thought it was
relationship with
last
John?
trial.
John and I were very close. We spoke on the phone and hung out. He became very close with my husband as well because he was right down the street. But we just had a friendship, a very close friendship.
Tell us about the day-to-day activities and how you would try to assist John with the children.
Well, John moved across town. I don't remember when. I forget how many. Patrick, I think, was in 5th grade or 4th grade. And I would take him home with me on Wednesdays because John would be working. So it was more of a, if he was at my house and my daughter needed to ride the other side of town, he would take her with him. We were just very close friends. We did a lot together. We would do baseball tournaments.
So that's what I'm going to tell little D. No, it's just a gas station.
Together. We would have drinks together. We would, all the things friends do.
As you grew closer to John and helped with the children, did you become closer with his family?
Yes.
And who specifically did you become closer with?
Mrs. O'Keefe and Mr. O'Keefe, his parents, and Paul, I would see from time to time, but not a lot. He doesn't live in Canton. But Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe would be there all the time to help as well. And Mr. O'Keefe would take my son and Patrick, the nephew, out to Dunkin' Donuts all the time.
Can you tell us a little more about the collective effort of other
After he
people,
jumped
including
up
his family,
Karen's
helping
butt for
John raise
donuts?
these children?
There was a lot of us that jumped in to help. It was
What
not
a
just me. There was a lot of Kaylee's friends' parents that jumped in and helped out for Kaylee, his niece, and Patrick. There was a lot of us that helped out with Patrick. All of the community all came together to help him because there was this guy that just lost his sister and brother-in-law, and he stepped in to take care of these 2 kids, and he didn't really know what he was doing at first, but he got the hang of it pretty quickly.
You have a son that shared a lot of interests with his nephew.
Yes.
You just asked that question. He didn't
Yes.
like playing hockey.
He also had a niece.
Yes.
Did you spend more time helping with his nephew or with his niece?
With his nephew.
Were there other people in the community you knew of who spent more time helping with his niece?
Yes.
And who was that?
Jen McCabe.
Did you know Jen McCabe?
I had met her once. John got a discount at Reebok, so he would take the kids. Well, he would take anyone with kids up with him to get shoes, like sneakers for back to school or whatever. So one day he did take Jen and I up to Reebok, but other than that, I never talked to her on the phone. I never saw her out. Her children are older than mine, so we never really crossed paths.
As it relates to the night of January 29, 2022, how much earlier was it that John took you out with the children and Miss McCabe out with her children to get sneakers? How many years before that?
Years, like 6 or 7 maybe.
And from that time you met Jen McCabe in the years past, did you ever spend time with her again before January 29th, 2022?
No, I did not. I didn't know her.
Were you friends with her?
I was not.
Did you speak on the phone with her?
No, I did not.
So other than that one meeting, you were strangers?
Yep, that was the only time. I knew her. I knew of her. She has 4 girls, but I didn't know her.
At some point, as you were part of John's life, did you learn that he was dating a person by the name of Karen Reed?
Yes, I did.
And do you see that person here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Could you point her out and describe an article of clothing that she's wearing?
She has a black suit jacket seated at the front table.
When did you first become familiar or know about Miss Reed?
July, I think it was, of 2020. John, we were having people over, and so I invited him, and he said, I'm going to bring Karen over. And I was like, I don't know who that is, but okay. He assumed I knew because he had been dating her for a little bit, but it was COVID, so we didn't see him very often during that time. So Karen came over that night.
This is early 2020?
I think it was summer, so I think it was around June or July.
Briefly, just tell us a little bit about where and the circumstances of meeting John and Karen for the first time.
They came over to my house, and we hung out on the back porch, had some drinks. There was music. Kids were around. Just a nice, normal summer night. We had other people over as well.
Over the next coming months, did you become more familiar with the defendant?
Yes.
Did you see her more often?
Yes.
And could you generally describe to the jury how you learned more of her and saw her more often?
She would take care of the kids a lot. Mainly, well, not mainly Patrick, but not mainly Kaylee either. She helped out a lot with the kids. So if we were at baseball, she would come to all the baseball games, or she would drop off or pick up my son or Patrick if they were going to the golf course or the driving range. Would
you see her during events with your son and John's nephew?
Yes. We did baseball tournaments. And
so when you go to baseball tournaments, would that be away, an overnight type trip?
One of them was down the Cape.
Okay. How often would you spend time with John and the defendant?
Yeah, it's everything in this community is drinking. It seems like there's always booze involved. Not
To be fair, you are living in Boston. I mean,
outside of Boston.
outside.
It's not like they're one of those armpit cities like Plevin calls it.
Oh, I didn't know that there were. Then what are they? The appendix city? The spleen city?
Wasn't she in the first trial like?
On John's cold face, the story told, spotted by the medic plain as day. They claim a car just drove that way. An arm was raised, a strike, a line.
And for 8 cents a day, you can bring these women's eyebrows back to normal.
Goodbye.
That was the Holy Hematopa song.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
In
the first trial,
often
wasn't
together.
Kerry Roberts
John would
like
stop by,
best
find-
friends since high school, and their families grew up together, and she was at school with all of his siblings, and they were really close the whole time, and now they weren't very close until they got the kids all of a sudden?
Yeah, they knew each other from high school, and she was a year or two ahead of him. Is there no drinking in Dollywood? No drinking in Dollywood. Dollywood is dry.
It's
Yeah,
dry.
well, the park itself is dry.
My husband would go out more with John, but I didn't spend much time with the two. Not a lot of time outside the baseball field.
Did you become friends with the defendant?
We were friendly.
Did you ever spend time alone to go out or socialize?
I did not.
Would
This
you
is so
see her
strange.
when you would pick up or drop off kids, or she would pick up or drop off kids?
Yes.
Did you ever speak to her on the phone?
Yes.
In relation to what?
Corresponding with the kids, pick up, drop off, mainly Ryan and Patrick. Not about Kaylee.
Did you ever spend any important dates or times or holidays with John and Miss Reed?
No.
I want you.
Yeah, wasn't she kind of jealous of her?
Yeah, she referred to Karen as the babysitter with benefits.
Yeah,
that was
Oh,
her
I
statement.
wonder if that's going to come out on Cross.
Jen McCabe got it in last time, not her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she was just a babysitter with benefit. Carrie is a talker.
Carrie's a talker.
Yeah,
It
we don't
was-
know each other. We never really knew each other, but we drove over to drop my
Proctor's house.
Yeah, Proctor's house, dropping Carrie's daughter off.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other. First time I ever met Jen was that morning.
But then she just happened to be at Proctor's house one time because Carrie was driving and Jen was in the car and they dropped off the daughter over at Proctor's house and then they sat for like an hour in the driveway with Proctor's wife.
Yeah, because Carrie is a talker.
Because Carrie's a talker.
okay. I missed
us
that
ahead
part in Girl because I'm
January
like, I'm
28th,
out.
2022.
Okay.
On January 28th, 2022, do you remember that day?
Yes.
Generally, what do you remember about the day of January 28th, 2022?
There was a blizzard coming, and it was my daughter's friend's birthday. So we were going to be going out celebrating that night, but we did it on the early side because there was a blizzard coming.
What was your plan for that evening?
We went bowling. We got dinner, then we went bowling, and then I came home because I wanted to be in before the snow started.
Had you communicated in any way with John that day?
Yes, he texted me. My son had had an issue at school. Patrick had been dismissed, I think, for a doctor's appointment. So he did text me to see how my son was doing.
Did you simply text or did you get a chance to speak to him that day?
I believe we just texted.
Did you go out that night after bowling?
No, I did not.
Was your husband home?
Yes,
Did he go out that night?
he did. He went out with John.
And do you know where he was planning on going?
They went to McCarthy's, a bar in Canton Center.
Had you been to McCarthy's before?
Yes.
Can you just briefly describe what McCarthy's is?
It's a restaurant bar. There's a large bar in the middle, the seating on the left and the right. It's right in the center of town.
Do you remember about what time your husband went out?
I do not remember exactly. I don't know if I got home and then he went out, or if he was already gone when I got home. I don't remember, but it was he went out around the same time that I arrived home, which was on the earlier side.
How many times had you been to John's home, would you say, over the past couple of years before this night?
Oh, many.
Many times?
Many times.
Were you familiar with the house and the driveway?
Yes.
May I approach you on?
Yes.
Ooh, Fiji water. Fancy. She went to Wawa.
Should I return to the podium and ask the question?
You can ask them from there.
Thank you. Ma'am, I'd ask you to take a look at that photo in front of you. Do you recognize what is in that photo?
That is John's house.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how his house looks?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to move this to evidence, please.
Okay, any objection?
No objection. May I publish to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Can take it down. I've shown you a second photo. Do you recognize what's in that photo?
Yes, that's John's driveway.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how John's driveway appears?
Yes, it is.
I move that into evidence. No objection.
Okay.
May I publish?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. I'm showing you a third photo. Do you recognize what's in that photo?
Yes,
And could you share with the jury what's in that photo?
it's the side of John's house looking up from the driveway.
Is there anything you notice on the side of the house?
The lights or the ring camera.
Are you guessing or do you know that's a
No,
ring camera?
I know there's one there
And how do you know that?
because I
Brennan, when you prep your witnesses, tell them what they have to notice. Because when
Yeah.
she looks up and says, the lights, the ring camera, it seems like she's just guessing to make you happy.
Yeah.
The
the music that was
dark and
going.
white bloomed where John was left outside. The hematoma, EMT's alarm. Not from a fall, not from a charm, not from an arm in some old bar, but from an arm struck by a car. The hematoma tells it plain, this bruise was born from more than rain.
I love it.
I'm such an idiot.
I got
No,
a ring
we
camera
need
and I
this.
could look and see who was at my door. And then he said, why didn't you tell me about these things? So he bought one.
And we'll introduce this photo.
Okay. Thank you.
May I publish it, Ron?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts, with the laser pointer, could you just point at the picture and show where the ring camera is?
Are they going back to the good old deleted ring camera? Yeah, I think they're going to touch that again.
Oh, for the love of Cheetos.
On this screen?
Yes, please.
Whichever one you can do.
Why isn't it working?
Nope.
It's on.
It's going well for the state.
Okay, well, you know what? Rather than use the pointer, why don't we describe, can you describe where you see the ring camera on that picture?
It's in where the two lights are under the top window.
Okay, thank you. We can take that down, please. How many times would you guess you had been over to his house?
I don't know. More than 50,000. I don't even know. A lot. It was weekly.
50,000?
That night you told us that your husband
52.
went out to meet John at McCarthy's, a bar.
Yes, he did.
Do you remember your husband coming home that night?
Yes.
Do you have any memory of about what time he returned?
Sorry, didn't he just bought the house when he got the kids? How many years did he have the kids?
Well, didn't she say this was around, because she met Karen, I thought around the same or a little bit after that, and that was in 2020, she was saying. So maybe 2 years.
And she's been at his house 50,000 times.
But they're not really, really close, and they don't have a weirdly close and somewhat
No, he was
possessive
closer with my
relationship.
husband. That's what she said. He's closer with my husband. We weren't really that close. He was closer with my husband, but I've been at his house more than 50 times. I don't think I've been at my daughter's house 20 times.
Yeah.
I
get where she's trying to go with it, but it sounds flippant and it sounds like you're not even taking it seriously.
And again, if I was her husband, I would be asking her, why do you want me to get a haircut like John? It seems like she's quite obsessed with this guy.
I'm guessing, but somewhere around 10:30.
So I'm not going to let you guess. Do you know? Do you have?
I don't know. It was around 10 or 10:30. I can't be exact.
Did you see him come?
Yeah, but she said he moved across town and then they didn't see each other that much.
Oh,
Yes,
what was the forecast for that night and the next morning?
there was a blizzard coming.
Was that part of the decision making of going out or staying?
I really don't think John would have an affair with this lady. Sorry, I don't think so.
Home?
Yes.
At that time, when your husband came home, did you look outside? Do you have any memory of what the weather looked like around 10:30?
I remember the snow started to fall somewhere around 12 because I remember looking out the window and I could see it starting.
And that was the beginning of the snowfall?
I believe so.
What was the weather out that night?
The weather that night, I think, was fine. It was cold, but it wasn't snowing yet.
I want to move forward ahead. At some point that night, did you go to sleep?
Yes, I did.
Did you sleep through the night, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, I did.
At some point, did you wake up?
Yes, I did.
I want you to tell us what was the reason that you woke up.
I got a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning from Karen Reed.
Were you expecting a call?
No, I was not.
Had you ever received a call at 5 in the morning from Ms. Reed before?
No.
Share with us what happened that morning. What did you hear?
Karen called and the first thing she said was, Carrie, John's dead. And then she hung up. And then,
When she said that, did you have a chance to have a conversation with her?
no, I did not.
Describe her demeanor when she said that.
She was yelling loud enough, my name, I think it was 3 times, it might have been 2. She was yelling loud enough that she woke my husband.
Your husband was sleeping next to you?
Yes, he was.
Was she loud, yelling, screaming?
She was very loud. She was screaming.
After she said, Carrie, John's dead, did you know what she meant?
No,
And did you say this was around 5:15?
this was at 5. She called me at 5 on the dot.
After she hung up, what did you do?
I was half asleep still. I didn't know what was going on. So I started to get up and I think I tried to call her back. I know I tried to call her back, but I don't know exactly when because I was like, what what? So my husband said, what was that? I said, I don't know. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on. That was Karen. And then I tried to call her back. I know I tried to call her back, but I don't know if she answered or if she called me back the next time I spoke to her.
After you or she called you again, did you have another discussion or did you hear her say something else the second time you spoke to her?
Yes, the second time she said, I think something happened to John. I think he got hit by a plow. He didn't come home last night. Kaylee was home. He would never leave her by herself, and I was not supposed to stay at the house last night. So I think something happened to him.
Did she say anything about drinking?
Yes, she said, we drank so much, I don't remember anything from last night. And I said, okay, where are you now? She said, I'm driving. And I said, you need to go home. Where's Kaylee? And she said, at home. I said, you need to go home and be with Kaylee. She cannot handle this, thinking, her uncle's missing. I said, you're going to get a DUI. You need to go home.
Was there anything else in the conversation that she said to you at that time?
She said, I'm going to drive to your house. Would you drive my car? And I said, yes. So at that point, I started to get dressed. I turned on the automatic car starter so it would warm up. Told my husband, I don't know what's going on. John didn't come home. And so I think my husband tried to call him and I tried to call him. And my husband said, you're not going anywhere. It's a blizzard. He's probably on somebody's couch. And I was like, I know, but she's really upset. I'm just going to go. She wants to come here. I'm going to drive her car.
Well, Hella, Mo is calling Mrs. Val and screaming, Valkyrie, Valkyrie, Valkyrie. My husband didn't come home last night. He's dead. And she starts getting her clothes on, and you say, what are you doing? It's blizzard. You're not going anywhere. In that situation, would you be behind the wheel of the Dodge with Mo in the back seat and Mrs. Val next to you because she would have punched you in the face if you didn't get your ass out of bed and drove them around? Or would you just have laid down and said, yeah, you crazy chicks, figure it out?
I can't imagine that they would just be driving off in the blizzard, right? Like, what do you? I don't think that's gonna fly.
Remember that husband who was really good friends with John?
Yeah, the one that was really good friends with John. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, you would think he would be out, but also, and this is just a weird quirk for me. So having lost my first husband, whenever Mr. Mo is like 15 minutes late, I go into like, okay, fate. All right, you rooster sucker. Fine. I am ready for this shit. Like, you got me off guard once, but okay, fine.
Never again.
I am waiting for the police to come up. So her saying, I hit him. When they told me my husband was dead and they still had him in a hospital room, I was like, are you guys confused? I thought you should know this before you called me. I actually said that. I mean, and the nurse was really sweet, but I'm not in charge of my filter on a good day. So I could imagine what she said. Did I hit him? I hit him. What happened? I mean, this sounds more like someone trying to figure out what happened versus someone trying to come up with a plan. Because if she was, all here like conspiraciting, why the hell would she, call the woman with the most evil eyebrows I have ever seen? Why would you get unsympathetic eyebrows here? I wouldn't call anyone. I'd be like, has anyone seen John? I don't know. I'll just stay here and play the, dutiful girlfriend staying with his, daughter while he's out carousing. I would.
If I remember right, too, the husband, or no, maybe that was Matt McCabe. Never mind. Maybe it was Matt McCabe. Disregard.
And then I went out to my car and sat and waited for her.
When you called John, did you get any response?
Why do you go on and sit in your car and wait for her?
Because she was supposed to be there in like a couple minutes, but then she took forever. She was supposed to be right there. It was supposed to be a matter of like Carrie goes outside, brushes her car off, and then they jump in her car, I think, and leave.
But wouldn't you just take her car?
Yeah,
He
you would
comes
think
in
you
a
would
car
take
that's
Karen's
preheated.
You would think.
It's a Lexus. It's probably a way better car than the mom when she's driving. Wouldn't you drive her?
No, I did not.
As you were waiting for the defendant, did you make any other phone calls?
I did. When I was in the car, I thought to myself, well, she thinks he got hit by a plow. I'm going to call the police and see if there was any accidents or maybe something happened. They brought him in. And I spoke to the officer who said, no, nothing of that sort. I've been here all night. And then I called the Good Samaritan Hospital and Milton Hospital to see if they had any.
No, you don't have to have Karen wake up. You just wait by the door inside, because I don't know if Americans have this, but we have something called heat, and we close the doors and windows in the window to keep the heat inside the house.
Wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's a novel new invention. We don't sit in a cold ass car and call the police.
Buddy that was taken in an accident.
When you called the police to look for Mr. O'Keefe, did you call 911?
No, I called the non-emergency line.
Do you know if that call was recorded?
I believe so.
I'd like to introduce an exhibit.
Okay. Any objection?
No objection.
Okay.
It'll come to America at some point. We also have fire and indoor plumbing.
When you called
I've heard
the
tell of
police,
those
what was your
things.
level of worry at that point?
I wasn't super worried. I mean, he didn't come home, but they were out drinking. So I assumed, like my husband said, he's probably on somebody's couch.
The second call you had was Miss Reed. Can you describe her demeanor in that second call?
She was frantic. She was frantic. I mean, she couldn't find John, so she was very worried.
How soft or loud was that phone call?
It wasn't as loud as the first one, but it wasn't a regular conversation.
With court's permission, I'd like to play the exhibit of the call.
Okay.
Hi, like I said, I'm calling because my friend's boyfriend did not come home last night. We were at waterfall, and now she is calling me hysterical because she doesn't know where he is. You didn't take anyone outside the name of John O'Keefe, did you?
John O'Keefe?
Yeah, he's a Boston cop, and he'll be on site, so.
No.
He probably got a ride and passed out of his own house, I don't know, but.
Yeah, no, we didn't want anybody else or anything like that. And where does he live?
He lives on Meadow, Grand 7.
He lives on Meadow, Pleasant. Okay, and where is the wife home? You said your girlfriend?
With his girlfriend, yeah, they were out having drinks, and then she left, and expected him to come home at some point, and he never did.
Yeah.
And so I said to her, my husband had been out with him earlier in the night, but then he came home. And he has custody of his niece and nephew because their parents passed away.
Okay.
And so she's home with the niece and nephew, and they're old enough to be home. And so she's nervous because she never even called me.
Yeah.
So she's like, I think something happened. And I said, okay, well, so call the area hospital and you'll be back in.
She was frantic. John's dead. John's dead. Carrie. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. They were out drinking, and she can't remember. He didn't come home. Wouldn't she go with? She's really upset. She sounds like she's ordering takeaway.
Don't you think she would mention that she said he was dead to the,
Yeah,
to the cop?
I would.
Like,
Yeah, like that would be my opening. Like my friend called really weird. She's frantic. I don't know what to make of all of this. I was going to call you guys before I try to drive out in a blizzard. Do you happen to have anyone in the drunk tank?
Yeah.
I personally think he probably picked him up in the car. I don't know.
Yeah. Did he get in drive last night?
No.
No. Okay. I mean, yeah, I think, again, it's more, it would be driven by, she would have to, call in a consultation and talk to us. But I mean, as right now, it's more, he just didn't come home last night. Is this common sometimes?
Yeah. No, that's why. That's she didn't tell me. That's kind of why she's more freaking out. So I figured I called the area hospital and then I called Kansas police just to make sure he didn't get sick. But like I said, it's about complete stuff. We're going to go back to people. If anybody put it on,
Yeah.
get it off.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of party and stuff.
Could we record something not on a Casio speaking spell?
But we haven't get any calls, anything like that. Nobody was arrested or anything like that. All right.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, no problem. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Were you
This
in
is
your
weird.
car when you called the police station and the hospitals looking for John?
Yes, it was.
Do you know at that point whether anybody else had called the police station?
No, I don't know.
Do you know at that point if anybody else had called any hospitals?
I don't know.
How long did you wait in your driveway?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Maybe like 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
What were the conditions like out that morning?
It was bad. It was in the middle of a blizzard.
When you were outside in your car in the driveway waiting, describe the lighting conditions for us.
It was still dark out. It was 5 o'clock in the morning and it was snowing. So it was not great.
How was the visibility?
Not great. It was coming down really fast at that point.
You said that night when you went to bed, the snow just started. Had snow accumulated at that point?
No, I don't think so. It was just starting to stick.
I'm sorry, that was the night before. But at this point, when you were in the driveway, had the snow accumulated?
Oh, yes.
Do you know how many inches it was?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Enough that the plows are out.
As you were waiting for the defendant, did she arrive at your house?
She did not.
What happened?
Again, I don't know if I called her or she called me, but eventually we connected on the phone and she said, I said, where are you? I'm waiting. And she said, I'm at Jen's house. And I said, Jen, who? And she said, McCabe, she's going to drive my car. And I said, okay, well, listen, they don't want cars on the road because it's so bad. I'm already in my car. I'll come there to Jen's house, stay there, and we'll follow each other and we'll go back and drop your car off. Did you look in the house for John? Could he just be in the house, passed out somewhere? And she said, no, she hadn't looked in the house. So I said, okay, now I'm going to come to Jen's. We're going to take the car home, drop it off. We'll check around the house.
Baker,
and then,
how far is Jen McCabe's house?
I don't know what the next step at this point was. I just wanted to check the house.
7 minutes.
At the time,
I think, yeah, I can't remember how. That's one of those sleuthy goosey
Baker,
questions.
I'm
It's
not a smart
something like-
pathologist, and I'm not a meteorologist, but so we now have potentially 3 cars, and she's like, they don't want no one on the roads. So she was like, no, it seems like Jen McCabe has this. I'm going to go ahead and say no, RSVP, no to your crazy, and I'm going to stay home. But she's
I'm
like,
not
no.
worried at all. He's at your house. He's sleeping it off. You just missed him because you were drunk and out of your mind. And you're with Jen, who I don't know that well. I know of her, but I'm going to drive to her house now, even though we don't know each other.
Yeah. Can I tell you the things that I wouldn't do? Like, my friend calls me cray cray and then says, oh, I'm at another friend's house. I'm going to be like, this inside cat is going to have your back way back. Like, deuces, babe. You're someone
I'm
else's
going to go
destiny
right
now.
next to the fireplace and I'll pray for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, bless your heart. Have fun.
Yeah.
you directed that you were going to meet at Jen McCabe's house and then drive to John's house. Was there any suggestion by the defendant where she wanted to go?
I didn't know where Jen's house was. I knew the street. I had dropping Kaylee off or picked her up a few times. So I said, stay on the phone with me so I don't know which house it is. And so when I got there, I pulled in the driveway and there was some conversation about.
Can I back you up and just ask you a little bit about the drive there? I don't mean to interrupt. When you left your house, you talked a little bit about the weather conditions. How long did it take you to get from your home to Jen McCabe's?
Oh, it's quick. Probably 4 minutes.
What was the driving like?
It was not good driving. That's why I didn't want two cars on the road.
Did you have any difficulty driving through that?
But you had two cars on the road.
No, I mean, it was treacherous, but I was in four-wheel drive. I have an SUV.
You mentioned you didn't know exactly where
I'm a
Jen
good
McCabe lived. Had you
driver.
been there to drop
I'm a
off
good
John's niece
driver.
before?
Yes, but I didn't know which
Yes.
house it was because when I picked her up before, she was either getting out of the car at the driveway or waiting at the end of the driveway. So I didn't know which house it was.
I think I interrupted
knew
you,
which
but were you
driveway
telling
it
us
was.
that as you drove to Jen McCabe's house, you were on a Bluetooth on an open conversation with her to help with directions?
Yes, Jen and Karen were in Karen's car, and I was on the phone essentially with both of them.
Do you know what type of vehicle the defendant was driving at that time?
A Lexus SUV.
As you drove over to Jen McCabe's home and you had some guidance finding it, did you hear any conversations in that open line with, or even any statements by the defendant?
I remember when I pulled in behind her car in Jen's driveway, and at some point Karen said, my taillight, and I looked, and Jen she must have had the breakdown because you could see that there was missing taillight.
When you say missing taillight, was it merely cracked?
Didn't she say I was missing a piece of my
No, there was a piece missing.
Could you see that as you were parked right behind the defendant's SUV or Lexus?
She must have been applying the brakes because you could see it, but there was a lot of snow.
No, you couldn't because there's no light left because there's no diffuser in the tail light.
I have my, female brain that's more akin and, associated to calculating Cole's cash. But if you have an object like this and snow is falling, but you take away part of the little concave, does the snow still form the concave, or convex,
If there's enough
like
of it.
light. Yeah,
it
so
shouldn't
basically the light looks like there's a little crack in it, but they're saying it broke into a gajillion 11 to 12 pieces. So the snow just automatically has a force field so it doesn't get into your little bulby parts.
No, the bulby part is actually up in the top of,
Oh,
and it'll go down and it'll hit a diffuser that'll throw it up and out of the back. That's what I can never remember the name of the guy who did the test on it. But Valhalla can back me up on this. When we arrived at John's house, she showed us her tail light was broken. This is from the first trial.
Yeah.
Now it's in Jen's house.
Yeah. And it's missing, not cracked or broken this time.
Yeah, it's a piece missing. It's not a piece missing. It's the entire right side of the tail light that's gone.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that definitely, there's videos that they talked through.
When you
at
saw
John's
that the
house
tail light had a missing
where this
piece,
supposedly happened.
did you say anything?
No,
Did you think anything of it?
no.
How long were you parked behind the defendant's
Yeah.
Lexus while it was parked in Ms. McCabe's driveway?
Not long. We were just, I pulled in and then we stopped. And then the next plan, at some point in that conversation as well, or maybe on the ride, because now we're heading to John's house to drop a car off. I pulled out of the driveway, Jen pulled out and I followed behind all the way to John's house. And at some point, Karen said, I left him at Waterfall. And I heard Jen say, no, I saw you pull up in front of my sister's.
Was anything else said about the broken taillight?
No,
You followed Ms. McCabe?
yes,
Where did you go?
to John's house.
Did you arrive?
Yes.
I want to ask you some questions about when you arrived and what you did next.
I'm having
Okay.
a
When
headache.
you arrived at Mr. O'Keefe's home, you were in two separate
My
cars. Who
doll,
pulled into Mr.
too.
O'Keefe's driveway first?
Jen pulled Karen's car in first.
Sorry,
So Ms. McCabe
something's
was
happening
driving
outside.
the Lexus
Correct.
and the defendant was in the passenger seat.
Yes.
After you both pulled in, tell us what happens next.
We went, I wasn't sure if it was, at some point Karen showed us the tail light up close, but I didn't know if it was when we arrived or when we left. But we went into the house to look for John.
When the Lexus was parked by Ms. McCabe in Mr. O'Keefe's driveway, was it facing the street or facing away?
Facing where the basketball hoop is, not facing the street.
Would you like to approach?
you mean the house facing the house? I mean, for someone who does this for directions, ma'am,
It's
come
not-
on now.
It's not exactly facing the house. The house is like here. The car
Oh.
pulls up on the side of the house and is facing
I'm showing you a
away
photograph.
from the
Do
street.
you recognize what's in that photograph?
Yes, that's John's driveway. That's Karen's car on the left and John's car on the right.
Do you recognize both those cars?
Yes, I do.
Do you recognize that photo as a fair depiction of his driveway?
Yes,
Do you recognize it as a fair depiction of the motor vehicles?
yes.
Now, when you went there that night and you pulled in behind Ms. McCabe and the defendant, is there any differences between how that area looked when you pulled in as opposed to that photo?
Well, it was the early hours of the morning, so it was dark out and there was much more snow. There was
Other than
snow
this-
coming down.
I'm so sorry. You want to finish?
Nope.
Other than the snow and the lighting, is there any other differences?
Nope.
I'd like to introduce this as an exhibit, please.
All right, there's no objection, Mr. Jackson?
No objection. With the court's permission, I'd like to publish.
Okay.
And to help us understand, you see on the left is the house.
Yes,
There's a motor vehicle in the middle of the driveway, but it's the vehicle to the left.
yes.
And whose vehicle is that?
That's Karen's.
Is that where it was parked that night when you went into the house?
Yes,
In the motor vehicle to the right, you recognize that?
that's John's car or SUV.
Thank you, you can take that down. I'm showing you a second photo.
Okay.
Do you recognize that photo?
Yes,
What is it?
it's the back of Karen's car.
Does it look like a fair and accurate depiction of her car as it appeared that morning in the early morning hours to you? Do
Yes,
you notice anything that's distinguished in that photo?
the piece that's missing in the taillight.
Which one?
The right passenger rear.
Do you know when, I'm sorry, do you know when this photo was actually
You have to
taken?
think about
I do
that.
not.
Although you don't know when it was
How
taken.
does a piece become
that
9
is similar
billion?
depiction to your memory of how it appeared that morning.
Proctor goes
Yes.
like this at lunch.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Of course, permission, I'd like to publish.
You would never describe that tail light as a piece missing. Never.
You can take that down, please.
This entire piece is gone. Even though I don't know what that middle part is that's still there. But this entire piece is gone. You would not say there's a piece missing. You'd say the entire right side is gone. And again, how did his hand hit this part and nothing happened to this part of the tail light? Don't think about it. It's Canton.
We can take that down, please. After you arrived at Mr. O'Keefe's house, what was
it
the
doesn't
plan
make
to go
sense.
inside? What were you looking to
No.
do?
To go inside and look and see if he was passed out somewhere. So we went in through the garage and I started looking. I think Jen ran upstairs to Kaylee's bedroom and I just started looking through the living room. Basement door was locked from the inside, so I knew he wasn't in the basement. And then I checked the other living room. He has a big house. Then I went to the top of the stairs to check his bedroom.
As you looked around, what was your mood?
What was my mood?
Yes, were you calm?
I mean, I was worried. So we were, at this point, Jen had already established that they went to her sister's.
Sustained.
Okay.
Jen had already.
Let me
Hold
ask the
on,
question.
Mr.
I'll
Roberts.
ask the question better. My apologies. How many rooms did you look through in John's house?
All of them.
1, 2, 5 or 6.
Did you see Miss McCabe looking in rooms as well, searching?
She went upstairs when I was looking downstairs.
At some point, as you were looking, did you see the defendant?
Yes,
Was she looking with you?
she was in John's room.
What was she doing?
She was just standing there when I came up to the top of the stairs.
Did she say anything?
No.
Did she do anything?
No.
Was she searching?
I don't know. She was in the room.
What happened next?
At some point, Jen earlier had said,
Well, let's not talk about what was said. Okay. Let's
Well,
just talk about
the plan
best
at
you
this
can,
point
your-
is to
your
go to
memory of what was
34
done.
Fairview.
Ms. Roberts, I know that I'm just going to ask you to wait for a question
Okay.
because we can only get one person at a time. So next question, Mr. Brennan.
Again, my apologies. And so as you're looking through the house, you don't find John. What happens next?
the plan was to go back to Jen's sister's house.
Who made that plan?
Karen wanted to go back there.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. How did that conversation come up, and share with the jury what was said?
And the car ride to Meadows, Karen said, I left him at Waterfall. And Jen said, no, I saw you pull up in front of my sister's. So then Karen said, we need to go back to your sister's. And I said, no, we're going to go to Meadows and we're going to drop the car and we're going to look there. Then we'll go there if we don't find him.
When you were at the house, Meadows, John O'Keefe's house, and you didn't find him, was there any further conversation about what the next steps would be?
I said, let's go. He's not here. But I didn't know where Jen's sister lived. So we got into the car. Jen was in the passenger seat. I was driving my car. Karen was in the back seat.
Did you
And Jen
begin,
was giving directions.
Why would the girl who don't know where her sister's living be driving?
I don't know why are 3 women out driving in a blizzard of apocalyptic proportions when you have alternately said that it's no big deal? He was probably sleeping on the couch. Karen is crazy. And then all the other things, again, none of this makes sense. And I can understand Karen not being, quite with it, but why, when I know this is crazy, and I know that we have heard a lot about these things because Brennan done told us about these magical things, but watch this. Hey, Jan, this is Jan. I was just wondering if John was over there sleeping one off. I didn't want to have to drive out in this weather. Oh, thanks.
Right.
No, he's not. Oh, could you look at your front porch? Okay, cool, sweet.
Yeah, he never came in the house. Okay, we're going to go another place to look for him.
Right?
you begin your way towards Meadows?
Yes,
And it was Ms. McCabe who was giving directions?
yes.
As you began driving to head towards Meadows, in addition to trying to drive, were you doing anything like looking or searching?
Well, yeah, we were looking on both sides of I was looking on both sides of the road in case he was walking home.
Did you see Ms. McCabe searching?
Yes, she was looking out as well.
I'll describe a little detail about what you saw Ms. McCabe doing.
She was looking out the window as we were driving. So was I, as I was driving.
And where was the defendant during
How-
that time?
She was
You're
in the back seat.
driving, looking for a man walking
Was
down
there
the
any
street,
conversation,
and somehow
comments,
can also
statements?
watch the woman
Well,
behind
she
you.
she would be in the back seat, and then she would be in between Jen and I, in the back seat, and then in between Jen and I. She was just very frantic.
Was she saying anything?
Oh, Jen was in the front seat.
Specific, I mean, there was
Okay.
conversation on the way there.
Misunderstood that.
Was she looking as well? Did you see her looking out the windows like you and Jen?
I don't know if she was because she was in the back seat.
As you drove to Meadows, what was the visibility? The same or better or worse?
No, it was poor.
Did you make your way towards Meadows?
I did.
As you finally got to Meadows, was the house on your left side, your side, or on the other side?
Are you talking about Fairview or Meadows?
I'm sorry, Fairview.
Okay. The Fairview house came up on the left-hand side.
Before you got to the house, is there a tree line between that house and the house before it?
Yes. There's a cluster of trees and bushes.
All right, take us back. I want to talk about that morning. As you're driving and approaching Fairview, tell us what you hear, what you see, what's
Meadows is where John's house is.
happening.
Meadows is the street.
Jen's giving directions, and it was really bad driving. I was white knuckling because it was getting slippery. Karen wouldn't put on her seatbelt because she was in between us again the whole ride, and then sitting back. But she was worried because we weren't finding John.
Were you having words?
Yes.
Tell us.
I said to Jen, where are we heading? And she said, my sister lives on Fairview. I said, where is that? She said, off of Chapman. I said, oh, okay, near Spring Lane. At some point, Bella's mom came up.
Tell me what that means.
I didn't know who it was, but it was.
This is the part that's too.
It's weird.
Why would anyone ever bring up Bella's mom in this situation?
It's pretty strange.
Because you know where Bella's mom lives. You know, the one who used to boink John. Oh,
It was one of Katie's friends, Bella's mom. Well, the directions. At some point, Karen was talking about Bella's mom to Jen, saying she never liked me. I didn't know who this woman was that they were talking about, but apparently, Bella's mom lived near where Jen's sister lived on Fairview.
but Karen didn't know Bella's mom. It was Jen who mentioned it the day before on the phone when she was giving directions because John used to date Bella's mom. This entire I was in Tennessee with you, as I understand, the last time, so I only caught parts of it. Is anyone buying this story?
No, and because I can tell you, Karen, if she was anything like me or they were actually white knuckling and driving, they wouldn't be able to put all of this energy into, oh, you know, Bella's mom. Yeah, John's seen her naked like a lot. You know, that just wouldn't happen. It would be like, okay, it's on Fairview. It's across that, you know, it's here and here. Just follow me.
You go to the BJ's and then you turn left, go past the Quickie Mart, and it's on the right. You wouldn't say you don't know Bella's mom, but she lives right across from where we're going to take a left. You know that skanky woman that John used to date before he was banging Karen. Whoever did, and ladies, I don't know. We have a bro code, so if we know our bro who's probably a little agitated is missing his girlfriend and we're out looking for her, we wouldn't say, oh yeah, oh, did we slip by John? You know, John used to really pound her. And should we just, no, we'll just say, go down to the BJ's, turn left, then go past the Quickie Mart, turn right. That's the bro
but
code.
as a kid mom, I'm going to tell you that's Bella's house. I'm not going to really hang out with Bella's mom. I mean, we might chat, but when I say something, I'm going to say, oh, that's, you know, Kaylee with the red hair's house. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm going. Because I don't even register parents because honestly, it's like, that's, you know, so-and-so, that's Bailey's house. Like, but
all these ladies were really into who John dated.
All of them.
Did you learn any more about the relevance of Bella's mom?
No. Oh, well, I think John had dated her.
I'm going to allow it.
Speculation.
So as you approached Fairview, tell us what happens.
As we approached Fairview at the house. You mean the house or the street?
Yes,
The house. Jen said, my sister's house is right up here. And I said, okay. And as we approached the house, Karen from the backseat is now screaming, there he is, let me the F out of this car. And she's now kicking the back door to get out.
When you heard the defendant scream, there he is, and started kicking the car door, did you see anything?
I did not.
Did you see anybody?
I did not.
Did you look?
I looked.
Was there anything that impeded your ability to see far?
No, it was just snow.
How far could you see when she was yelling, there he is?
How far could I see?
Yes.
I mean, the visibility wasn't great.
Okay. Was she pointing or giving any direction?
No, she just said, there he is.
Okay. What happens next?
And then I unlocked the car. I looked over, I didn't see anything. And I unlocked it so she could get out of the back seat. I looked at Jen and I said, she's crazy. And then I turned around and watched, and she ran over to a mound of snow.
When she started running, before she got anywhere, did you see anything at that point?
I did not.
Were you looking?
I was looking. She said, there he is. So I'm looking around to see where he is.
And you could see nothing?
I did not.
Did you see her run around or directly?
She ran right over to the mound.
Right over to the mount. What you can't see in this picture is her car is positioned right here, right outside of the picture. I didn't take it in here. They passed him. The car was past the point where John was situated. They make it seem like she saw him from down the other end of the road. That's when she started kicking and screaming. And again, this mound of snow, was it 3 inches at the most that had been coming down that night? This is from a dash cam with a shitty windshield wiper and the front headlights on. And I got in a bad position. You can clearly see the other car. You can clearly see the people on the lawn. I'm not buying this crap. Sorry.
Well, also, if she and Jen were driving, they're not going to obviously see things as well as Karen is. Karen's sole focus is on what is on the side of the road, that kind of thing. If you are truly white knuckling it, if you are really that, scared of driving, if visibility is that low, you're going to be tunnel visioned on what's straight in front of you. Karen is looking at the sides. She's looking for anything body shaped that she expected to find, that because that is the scenario that already went through her head.
That's just.
Could you tell what the mound of snow was from the car?
Once she got to it, yes, it was. Once she got to it, you could tell it was a mound of snow that was the length of a body.
All right, I'm going to stop you there, Mr. Brennan. I need to see counsel at sidebar for just a minute, please.
Sidebar. Let's see how long this sidebar is.
If you have anyone, don't do any discussions that I'll tell you every single day. Please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation in this case. If you happen to see, hear, or read anything
Are we
about
done?
this case, please disregard
Are we
it.
done?
Please,
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock.
We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
All right, please. Hold your books, put them on your seats.
I guess I thought we were going till 5.
Oh, Bev
This is
very rarely goes till 5. You'll find out.
I mean,
Very
I'm
rarely.
I'm not upset about it.
You will be about day 37. I promise.
Well, but today, right now, I could barely stand another one of, so, was it snowing? Was it snowing?
We've gotten
I'm
through
just-
less than a witness and a half, y'all.
I'm just waiting for tomorrow when he'll come back and say, "Oh, just so the jury can come back and remember what you said yesterday. How was the condition when you were driving? Did she call you?" Again, I've seen on Twitch. I probably could, but I know there's a gag order on talking about the jury. Sue from NBC have been sharing stuff. Aiden is kind of surprised because he's not allowed to do it, but the media does it. It doesn't seem like they are buying what Brennan is selling. Let me say that. I don't know if it'll be taken down. So if you follow Sue, which I don't know why she's just a commentator, as she calls herself, you can go and see her covering some of the reactions. But watching this compared to the first trial, maybe it's because the setup, the first time you build it up with the family, you put us in who John was and why it's so extra sad this guy isn't here anymore. And you kind of build up that Karen is kind of a B word. Then you went into what, if any, happened that morning. You had the police officers, you had the EMTs, and then you went into the whole what, if any, was near Fairview 34 and spent the rest of the trial on that almost until you just arrived at the experts in the end. We start with an EMT guy who isn't even the lead EMT guy. Then we're jumping to Crazy Carrie. Who's next? The ME?
Who
I
knows?
really, it's I don't.
Could
This
they
is so
be
weird.
streamlining?
I don't know but it's just very confusing to me.
Usually,
And I
there's
think
like
that's actually on purpose.
I think so too. I said it earlier. That's what they're going to try to do. He's going to try to just confuse the crap out of everybody. He's going to try to bury all the bad witnesses early. So then by the time you get to verdict watch, nobody's going to remember how god awful that paramedic just was.
Yeah. But they're now going to go to cross-examination of Miss Roberts. Well, they're not, but because she has to go through her. Oh, she was screaming at the scene, and she probably also heard, "I hit him! I hit him!"
Do you have the court feed up still?
I can get it up. That's what she said.
Giggity.
Oh nope, that's the wrong one. I don't think it's live.
Somebody in chat saying that they're doing the ARCA motions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Nope, it's still the wrong one I'm pulling up. Nope, Court TV.
Stranger
ended.
Things.
It kind of does sound like Stranger Things.
Will 11 beat Vecna this year on Canton? How is
Wait, how are
Vecna-
we hearing that?
Because I still have the feed running in the background.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, how the hell?
Stranger
Boston
Things
25.
this year is going to be off the chain.
Marissa
They're no
says
longer in-
Elise is going nuts. Boston 25. I don't think Marissa's going to lie to us, Baker.
Well,
True that.
She might get us demonetized, but she's not going to lie
And
to us.
essentially, what the Commonwealth just argued.
oh, it's because
is-
they put a new feed up. I'm just gonna go back so we can get it from the beginning.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Just
A sidebar we're invited to.
Thanks, chat.
And 680. First, Commonwealth's motion to enforce compliance with the court's April 16th, 2025 ARCA discovery order. Mr. Brennan, you said you could be brief on both of these, so I'll hear you.
For coming from the guy that doesn't want to kick ARCA out of the testimony.
On the motion for compliance, our position is the defense did not comply with the order. This has been
God, I hate
an
him.
ongoing issue which relates directly to the credibility of potential ARCA witnesses. This is information based on the history and representations made in this case that we're entitled to. I did note before these were produced that we have watched video footage from unaired video from the documentary. We clearly knew that there were text messages and correspondence beyond what was represented to the court. It is not a surprise that I did receive these lists of text messages and calls after I made those comments. However, there is no text message content. There is 99 texts to Mr. Wolf, 6 texts to Mr. Lenschler. That does not reconcile with the past positions and representations of the defense to this court and to the Commonwealth. In addition, there are a number of phone calls. And those phone calls, again, I would suggest do not reconcile with the past representations. We have 52 minutes of phone calls on 5 calls with the ARCA mainline, 133 minutes, 20 calls with Dr. Wolf, 57 minutes, 23 calls with Dr. Renschler. I find it difficult to accept that these were all for scheduling purposes. We also had your Honor's order, not just for the communications, which are not a complete or a fair production, but there was a order by the court to provide all correspondence, text messages, emails, not just with Attorney Jackson, but with the entire team, including the defendant, Karen Reed, and we have received nothing. This is important because if we look at the first half of ARCA's potential testimony, which is limited to their prior report, we cannot fairly and effectively cross-examine the witnesses until we have the information we're entitled, and that's why I've also asked and suggested that ARCA should be ordered and required to provide that evidence as well, so that we can see what is there. It is concerning that there are this many texts, this many phone calls, and the fact that this is totally in contrast to what was represented in the past. So before there's even a thought of ARCA testifying, I think we're entitled to the full discovery that we asked for, the full discovery that the court has ordered. I don't see anything to do with billing or anything else beyond these text message and phone call logs. I want whatever content is available I think it's relevant material. It's pursuant to your order, and this is woefully incomplete. Should I dive into the second motion?
Yes.
Take it more quickly. The second motion, part of it is moot in some respects. I won't go through the tortured history of discovery. We've gone through it too many times. We don't have time for it. But inevitably, it is clear that we have played by the rules, met our discovery obligations, and as we stand here now, the defense is proposing new opinions, new testing, and they don't even have the parts of that testing yet. This is 2 weeks into trial after we picked a jury. This is at the time of the opening. It is ambush. It is unfair, and we have no ability at this point to reconcile or deal with new opinions and new information. Importantly, the defense's position is they may or may not have a report by May 1st. Our expert will be testifying somewhere at the beginning or middle of May. He is away. He is not available. And so anything we receive at the beginning of May or end of April, we'll have no opportunity to look at, vet, test, reconcile, or even engage in our own testing. This was my concern all the way back in November. I'm not Nostradamus, but this obviously was something that worried me that actually occurred. And so at this point, it would be fundamentally unfair.
We don't know, T-Rex. Probably find out in week 12.
Fair for the defense to get a benefit for failing to comply with discovery orders by waiting until February to seek permission with ARCA. They could have called any expert, asked for any expert they wanted. They didn't. They chose this method, and this is the consequence of it. And at some point, the defense has to bear the burden of their decisions.
I don't want ARCA out, but they are not allowed to use them.
Have Dr.
He's such an idiot.
Tarantula come in days before his testimony, try to reconcile, be inadequate. I've had a brief correspondence with him. It's simply impossible. That's why we suggested, although we certainly didn't want to move the trial date, that was the only remedy if the court was going to allow any new opinions, evidence. I say to the court that they should not be allowed to offer absolutely anything new, not only because they missed the discovery deadline, technical, but the reality is we're all trial lawyers. We've all tried a lot of cases. It would be a disadvantage, fundamentally unfair, and because of their own choosing. And so anything new, we will not be able to reconcile. We would not be able to proceed with our expert in a fair manner. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lessie's issue, I'm going to ask you to be as brief as you can be, please.
Your Honor, I understand your request to be as brief as possible, but this is the first opportunity the defense has had to respond to almost every allegation that's been made. We haven't had an opportunity. So I certainly respect the court and what the court's request is, but it is going to take a bit of time to put facts out. And I want to separate two categories that the Commonwealth has conflated. The Commonwealth has conflated the issue of what text messages exist, which text messages don't exist, what's been turned over pursuant to orders. And I would like that to be clear to the court factually, because the Commonwealth has misstated just now 3 times the facts.
So I asked this morning, there were 100 or so texts referenced in the exhibit, whatever was presented by you folks. I asked if Mr. Jackson, if he provided them, because my order was clear, they would be provided. And he said no. And I asked you at sidebar whether they were deleted. And you said yes, in due course. I have no idea what that means, Mr. Lessie. Why don't you explain that?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to explain. Here's what it means. Like anybody's phone, those text messages are 2 years old. They don't exist.
So can you also tell me, aren't the ABA guidelines the council is supposed to keep everything in a case for 5 or 7 years?
I do not believe that is the ABA rule with regard to experts. I'm unaware of that.
In regard to your client, and this was in regard to your client's case, right?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear you.
What?
Records kept regard to your client's case, which these are experts that were, I mean, there's 100 text messages leading up to trial when I was told that by you that there was a pause email, and then all of a sudden out of the blue, a bill appeared in July. This shows that's not true, Mr. Lessie.
Your Honor, that was a different question that Your Honor asked me back then. That was about emails. That was not about text messages.
Have emails been provided?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. All emails have been provided. And that is why we are in compliance with all orders. And I will say also with regard to text messages, we have provided, pursuant to every order, every single text message that exists. Mr. Brennan just said, I believe there has to be more there. There's not more there, and I don't believe there can be an order of preclusion based upon the speculation of opposing counsel that there must be more. We affirmatively created a document, Your Honor, to be more transparent than the records occasions. Yes, we don't have the text of the text messages, but we were completely forthright and set forth every text that was made. Plus, we turned over from Ms. Little, the only other person on the defense team who communicated with ARCA, we turned over her texts and the text of her text messages. There is nothing else in existence to provide. And importantly, the defense was under no order to preserve the text of text messages. And we have never received, as part of discovery in this case from the Commonwealth, any communications between the Commonwealth and its several experts. That has not been what has occurred in this case. But of course, once Your Honor on Friday issued that order to provide everything, we provided everything we can that we had. The bottom line is, Your Honor, we've turned over absolutely everything we have. And in addition to that, we created a document so that it would be easier. We're the one who showed all of these text messages from Mr. Jackson historically. We created that document. There's no basis for a discovery violation. There's no basis for an order violation. We are in full compliance. So that's the prong one, Your Honor. Prong one is what Mr. Brennan has alleged is incorrect because we turned over, and we did it recently and consistently, we've turned over all emails and Ms. Little's text we provided. There are no text messages in 2024. And there's no order that required those to be preserved. And there is no discovery violation because we can't be in violation of not turning over something that doesn't exist.
Right. Go to the second.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Motion.
The second part of the motion, Your Honor, is the most maddening for the defense. And this is the timeline that I can go through very, very quickly. And essentially, what the Commonwealth just argued is we will be so prejudiced that if we get the work that ARCA is underway, working on, that we will be prejudiced because we won't have enough time to address it. Your Honor, the facts show that the timeline for this has been caused by the Commonwealth, not the defense. And I can do it quickly. July 2024, the first trial concludes. November 2024, 4 months later, the Commonwealth decides to retain Aperture. Their decision to wait 4 months to retain an expert, we're the defense. We defend what the Commonwealth alleges. January 30th, 2025, 2 months after that, 6 months after the first trial, we get an Aperture letter report that's barely discernible about what they've done. It's a 1 page and 1/4 of conclusions and opinions in outline form. Next, January 31, 2025, we get the initial Aperture 140 slide presentation. January 31st, February 5th, we get the case file. In February 19th, we finally get the raw images from Aperture in the scans. That's the first time we get raw images in scans. You can't have an expert work on anything until you even get those raw images in scans. We move, and we have a hearing on March 20, 2025 to preclude Dr. Welcher because the slides are so incoherent and the report is so insubstantial. We can't tell what it is their theory is. So then on March 24th, and at that hearing, the Commonwealth agrees to redact and revise that. So we're already into March 20th. The Commonwealth agrees to redact and revise. Your Honor put the defense on a short leash. We accepted it. And by March 24, we received the PowerPoint that was of the Aperture that was supposed to have two things happen. It was supposed to be redacted, and there were certain things that were supposed to be changed. What did we get on March 24th? It wasn't redacted, and there were 3 substantive changes to it. The Commonwealth has said twice, including today, there were no substantive changes. There's 3 of them, and to the extent Your Honor wants to hear, I can detail exactly what those changes were.
So why don't you highlight them very quickly, because I
will, Your Honor. I can do it quickly. Thank you for the opportunity. First one, slide 36, they changed the image of 34 Fairview. No small change. 102, they changed the conclusion regarding the time that the tail light was broken. No small change. 123, they changed the image of 34 Fairview. No small change. So we ended up getting those changes, and I want to be clear on the date. That's March 24th. We have a hearing on March 25th. We agreed to provide our response to these revised Aperture documents. Here is the key data point. On March 26th, the defense engages ARCA. Just 2 days after we get the revised PowerPoint with 3 substantive changes. And then we started to respond and provide more information on March 27th. We responded to the Commonwealth's revised PowerPoint and the Welch report. And then the last two items, we renewed our request to preclude Dr. Welcher on Delbert Lanigan grounds. April 1st, and this is another key date, the court decision allowed Dr. Welcher to testify, but also allowed the defense to re-raise objections at trial when Dr. Welcher testified. What does that timeline show? That timeline shows that the Commonwealth took 6 months from the last trial, 6 months, and the defense took merely 2 days after they got the final report of Aperture to retain ARCA. Last point I want to make, Your Honor, is the argument of the Commonwealth that we strategically waited to retain ARCA. Nothing could be further from the truth. As the court knows, and has been the case with this unorthodox situation, ARCA was retained by the U.S. government. They worked pursuant to the U.S. government, and we had to get the permission of the U.S. government to retain ARCA. We moved expeditiously to do that. We got the permission from the government, and as soon as we got the permission from the government, and as soon as we got the final version of Aperture documents, including scans, we put ARCA on it. It has only been since March 24th, not even a month, have we had finally the information from Aperture, which is still inadequate. Our experts still say, with regard to what Aperture did, in some instances, they can't even figure it out because the information is so inadequate. Nonetheless, because of all the considerations we're aware of, we had ARCA proceed forthwith with post-haste. And they are working post-haste. But, Your Honor, we are the defense. That's where I started. We had to understand as best we could what Aperture did. In conclusion, 2 points. No violation whatsoever on text messages, emails, court orders. All complete, robust compliance. And with regard to the allegation that there was something said, that there's some surprise that there were so many text messages, on June 10th, 2024, and I've got the transcript on an, albeit on an electronic device, right in front of me, I just got to get the passcode. Mr. Jackson read a text message right live that he had with ARCA. He read it, and here's what it said. The court, okay, Mr. Lally. So her issue is that she is available this week, but not next week. So I really need to get her in on Friday. Mr. Jackson.
Hold on. The court reporter can't hear you. She asked you to stop.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Am I going too fast? Thank you. All right.
Just a whole lot, son. Just a whole lot.
My apologies. So, Mr. Lally, so her issue is that she is available this week, but not next week. So I really need to get her in on Friday. Mr. Jackson. Dr. Wolf just texted me and said, I presumed you were in court. Give me a call when you're available. The court reporter, I'm getting an interference. Mr. Jackson, I'm so sorry. The court reporter, that's okay. We have been completely transparent that there were text messages, as opposed to emails, text messages about scheduling, about other administrative matters. Mr. Brennan is completely free on cross-examination of ARCA to address every one of his speculations, every one of his suspicions, every one of the ghosts that have been created on this topic. He can address them. If he thinks that we're wrong, we're misstating, he's got the opportunity to speak to ARCA and ask those questions. Your Honor, it is improvident to, based upon speculation, preclude the defense from putting in a defense.
I'm not making a conclusion today regarding precluding the
defense. Okay, all right.
So we need to wrap it up because there's something I want to say.
Certainly, Your Honor. I'm going to wrap it up in 10 seconds.
Oh,
there are no violations of any discovery order, no violations of this court's order. And with regard to the retaining of ARCA, because we're the defense, we acted expeditiously in response to the information we're getting. And this can be tested with ARCA, this statement I'm going to make. To this date, ARCA still has trouble understanding what it is that Aperture did and didn't do, which was the reason for my Delbert Lanigan motion, but we proceeded nonetheless. Happy to entertain responses to any questions.
All right. No, thank you. All right. So as you all know,
I was like, no.
Why don't you have a seat, Mr. Alessi?
Thank you, Your Honor.
I previously found, and believe Mr. Alessi, when he was talking about the rules of professional conduct, did say, I agree, a violation of Rule 14, but not regarding the rules of conduct. At a prior hearing, I found a violation of the defense's reciprocal discovery obligations. It was clear to me, and I found that it was deliberate. This appears to me, contrary to what you've argued, Mr. Alessi, that this is another violation of my order and of the reciprocal discovery violations. We need to figure all of this out before you're allowed to call these witnesses. So I'm going to have a voir dire hearing this Friday. I know we planned on having the view. I need the ARCA witnesses here Friday morning.
No fucking way.
This will
No
be the
fucking way.
third voir dire of the ARCA witnesses, because this see you next Tuesday really want to keep them out. And what is ARCA? ARCA is a crime, is a crash reconstruction experts. We're going to do another voir dire on Friday. Karen Reed is going to pay for ARCA to fly out another day, and then there will be a bill for that. Then she will then find them not in compliance with the order because they didn't say that they were paying that bill, and
they're going to disqualify ARCA.
Just throw them out. Can we have a voir dire of the state's crash experts, because they can't even figure out how he did the report, but he's totally cromulent. But ARCA,
This is ridiculous.
ARCA is not okay.
So Bev didn't listen to anything that Elise said. Not one thing.
No,
Because-
she had that. Oh, look, we have Kimmy back. Hey, Kimmy. Dr. Wolf will not lie to court again. No, you got it wrong. It's all the state's witnesses who makes up new statements. Dr. Wolf wrote a report. That report haven't changed. I know we're just getting started. You're a little slow. You'll get into it. Whenever Nuttall said, I remember it better today than I did 2 years ago. I can't remember talking to Proctor. I don't know who was at a meeting I was at yesterday. That means that he might be what's in professional terms called misstating. What Dr. Wolf did is write a report. That report you can go and check. Well, you can't because you don't have the skills to do it. But they could send a state expert out. He can test every single conclusion in that report, and Dr. Wolf will then be found that he's correct because he has to provide means and the methodology and everything, how he did his report. So he couldn't lie, because if he lied, he would have been impeached by the state, and lying to the state because the state have the power to hold him for perjury. So Kimmy, love to see you back. You haven't gone Arbor since the last trial, but come back tomorrow and we will try and enlighten you. Stop listening to Plevin. That guy is wrong. I read his book. I'm sad that you listened to him.
So we need a voir dire, if you intend to call them, a voir dire on all of this. And I will be sending an order for production of records. I just need to amend it for ARCA to bring all these items with them. So Friday will be for ARCA for a voir dire hearing in the morning. So we'll see you tomorrow for trial, Friday morning for this.
May I inquire briefly for scheduling purposes?
Yes.
In light of the hearing on Friday, will it still be half a day, or are we expected to call witnesses on Friday?
No, it will be, if we could do, Mr. Leslie, how long do you think this voir dire might take?
I don't have an answer for you, Your Honor, right now, because I got to talk.
How can he know how long a voir dire will take that you just sprung on him?
I thought Brennan was going to be asking all the, like,
So I think, in fairness, I think it can take some time.
All right. So no witnesses for Friday, and I think we'll give the jury the day.
And will it be a full day on Thursday?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. So we'll see you then. I will issue an order hopefully before the close of business today. Jimmy, can you stay and get this out today?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
notice Bev's not getting it out.
Of course we need another voir dire.
That's insane.
Yeah, because they're going to have a voir dire. That means that they're going to call ARCA and ask them questions about what they did and how many text messages they sat and said, "Hey, can you bungle up your report so it really sounds good for us? Can you hide everything?" And they say, "No, because we're hired by the government. Everything we put in that report is government owned. So if we lie about what's in it, we're going to be in trouble. And your shitty little case that paid us $25,000, we don't care about that. We got $500,000 from the state, from the federal government to do that investigation. We're not going to lie from some lawyer and lose our potential earnings. How stupid are you?"
There's no way that there aren't very strict protocols about what you are allowed to talk about with a legal, professional when you're consulting on their case, because ARCA is going to be built on reputation. The court officers are, their reputation. I mean, basically, Bev said you guys were, tantamount to lying, to me. And she didn't listen to anything. Again,
Nope.
oh.
She wrote that reply before he even opened his mouth.
She wrote that reply before they came to court today.
No, because he didn't raise the problem till today. Well, yeah, maybe he filed it this morning, I think. That's probably why he was late.
She had that before court today, guaranteed. She's never
I forgot how much I
She's
hate this
never
woman.
had an order ready the same day.
She doesn't do that. Right. She doesn't do that.
Look,
She certainly.
it's hard when you're beautiful. She has to go home.
Yeah. Brennan keeps fishing for non-existent, but he thinks that out there is an email, there's a text message, there's a carrier pigeon with a message that says, "Hey guys, can you lie?" And they say, "Yeah, sure," because we work for NASA, we work for the federal government, we work for the NFL. So the $25,000 you pay us to spend 4 days in court. Well, 2 days each, but it's 2 people, so it's 4 court dates. You pay us $25,000 for that. $8,000 a day isn't a lot for these witnesses. Let's throw all of ARCA's reputation away and ruin that business, and at the same time make us poison. We will never work a day again in our life. And we don't do this. We're not Dr. Smeagol from the AHJD case. These are people who actually works with the NFL to try and figure out how do you get less concussions. These are people who will work with airlines to figure out how to heighten security. These are people who help people build space rockets. But of course, they are going to lie in a shitty little courtroom in Norfolk County, Massachusetts.
Here's the problem. Even without ARCA, even if you don't have ARCA in there, the state will not be able to prove their case because it is harder to prove a negative. All of their evidence, they're going to have what? Math and stuff guy. You're going to have Proctor. You're going to have apparently a PowerPoint so incoherent that I will by the end of it not even understand how to parallel park as far as cars are going. That being said, in all honesty, I don't know how to parallel park right now.
I'm really bad at parallel parking as well.
Are you really?
Because it's useless skill. You don't need to use it. You never need to use it. It's just to torture people.
I lived in Copenhagen. Everyone parallel park. I was really good at parallel parking when I lived in Copenhagen. Now I live out in the boons. I'll just drive into a parking lot. It's not. I know it's something, and then you turn, and then you come, and then you the other way, and
you gotta go forward and.
Yeah, I'll clip the curve. I need ARCA to figure out what the angle my. And again, it's different cars.
Oh my God.
Please don't ignore me. I know the 3 of you sees my comments. I just saw this one.
I'm sorry, Mike. I was actually making sure that my youngest, most feral, is doing his homework. So sorry.
Yeah. I just went on a rant, so I'm sometimes I forget not to look. And bring you on. Tell me who you are, why. Then maybe I don't know you. I don't. How
I have a feeling, Mike, that the three-way multi-stream of a case that's renowned for having trolls and haters is probably not the first chance you're going to get to jump on a
Well,
stream.
no, I'm going to give him a chance. 2 subscribers. He has the guy country dancing at Hot Point from 6 years ago. It's a 3-minute and 14-second video. Mark will be our standby emergency Jamie. If Jamie can't make it,
Yeah, I mean, I do have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so
yeah.
If
I might.
they discover the hematuba of cringelariousness tomorrow, I might need further scans.
I'm having a severe pain in my head all of a sudden. I think I might have had an aneurysm.
I think it's called a migraine.
No, I don't have migraine. That's something for women. Men just have pain. Parallel parking is essential in Chicago, and you better do it fast or you'll get flipped off and honked at mercilessly until you do. That's why I have Valhalla drive me around when I'm in the States. Or the White
That's why
Rocket.
I don't go to Chicago.
Where's the link?
Because my ass would be
I just
shot.
sent
They'd
it
be
to
like,
you.
oh, hell.
Valhalla, did you send the link to him?
No.
Mike, I'll have a talk with Valhalla in the green room. Make sure that he'll send the link.
My bad,
got
Mike.
you,
My
buddy.
bad. My
Yeah.
bad.
Valhalla, we need to establish. It's the first street. We're just getting back in the groove. You will get the link a little bit later. Talking about a little bit later, do you know who is not late? All of Valhalla's goats. And I'm
That's
going to
true.
send you all over so you can see little, well, not little
Yes.
Dottie. She's moving out of the birthing stall soon. And
No.
She's got day rights out. She's got day visitation capabilities.
Ooh. She's
I
going
was
to be
looking at-
selling Kirby vacuums in no time.
I think I was watching yesterday, and one mom had all the kids.
Yeah, that happens.
That was just. Oh, okay. I have 4 kids. Probably mine.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm in the checkout aisle with a bunch of kids and I see some blonde kids, I'm like, would you stop? And I'm like, oh, wait, you're not mine. Touch everything you want. You're not mine. Also, sorry, please don't tell people I tried to take you home with me. I just thought you were part of my parcel. Okay. To be
Why do I
fair,
have
you were.
so many kids in the minivan. What the hell is going on here?
Why isn't there enough child seats today? Oh, you're not mine.
Go back into Walmart before anyone finds.
The hematoba talking live bloomed where John was left outside. The hematoba EMT's alarm. Not from a fall, not from a charm, not from an arm in some old bar, but from an arm struck by a car. The
Also, did we notice-
hematoba tells it plain this bruise was born from more than rain.
Auntie Bev does this when she uses her glasses. They're never right on her face. She moves them down here. And then because she can't see through these godforsaken this that she's always doing. Okay, jury, when I told you not to look at stuff, I'm going to need you not to look at stuff, okay? Although I can't look at stuff through my bangs, maybe because they're stupid.
Wait till you see her when she gets Dr. Wolf on the stand.
Yeah.
She'll be twirling
that's
them
when she
bad
goes-
boys.
She got her roots done last year when he came on the second time. That's why she wants them back. It has nothing to do with the case.
She's like, tell me more about your cannon.
Oh, you got a big cannon.
Call me the cannon in college. I don't want to tell you anything, but it was wild.
Did you see the Karen Reed "How Dare You" video? By the way, nope. I don't think. I think it's a clip from Outside of Court or something. I think that's the one you're thinking about. Oh, thank you. Go to Kevin and Valhalla will send you the link as soon as soon as he can.
Wait, do I not count as a woman?
Yeah. And listen to the woman. I always listen to the women's.
Well, I got a great rack if I'm not a chick. I mean,
really hitting chest day. But I always listen to women because my owner is Jamie. Jamie owns this channel, and she is female. And my mod crew, who yells at me constantly, is female. And every time I go into my Discord, I have a female crew who will yell at me. So they say I never listen, but I don't know. They are always. It's like Charlie
that is
Brown's.
true. We just go in and we start clicking. We're like, tuk, 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 and Baker just looks at us.
Yeah, and then I'll just say, okay, see you tomorrow. And the rest of you, I will see all y'all tomorrow with the lovely Valhalla awaits the even lovelier Mo in the deep end. Go give them some love. Prove it, Mo. Go back and watch the stream from last week. She was overflowing.
Yeah. I'm trying this whole glow up thing. Gonna be a fashionista.
I dig it.
Anything you want to say before we go?
I've got a 24-hour GOAT live stream going on. I'm sending my crowd over there. I think Baker said he's sending his crowd over there. So y'all get over there, hit the like for me. They're going crazy right now. It's a lot of fun. I've been listening to GOAT scream in my ear all day today.
Has that made it more or less bearable, the GOAT screams?
It's about the same, really. It's about the same.
All right, Tori Amos and the next other earbud for tomorrow.
And if you like funny news stories that's not political, that's not that, go check out Mo in the Deep End. Every morning she does a rundown of the most quirky news articles she can find out there. I set up streams, get yelled at for not sending the links that I already sent, and that's why Valhalla will now take care of the links. Mike will get it soon. Ciao.
Get cut and dry. Pretty simple. Just pin it on the girl, right? Pretty simple. Just pin it on the girl, right?
Objection.
Pretty simple. Just pin it on the girl, right?